Hello and welcome to episode 66 of the Chronicles of
You
Nidum,
lied.
run by us here at Dice of the Beholder, streamed on the amazing and wonderful, and it's just gone really blurry.
I'll kill you when you.
It's been
I did
fine
that
the
with my
entire time.
mind.
It's
I did
been
that
fine.
with my mind because you tricked us.
Yeah, it's
It's an
been fine.
intense look at Bryce face.
It's been fine literally the entire time. There's my hand, and it's being...
Oh, it's
No.
thinking about it. What's it focused on? Is it part of the back?
Nothing. It's focused really close up. I think he has a ghost in the office. That
I
comes
don't
and
have
sits
a
in front of
ghost in the
camera.
office. Hi guys, give me a second.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I'm just going to pull everyone else on screen so you can chat, and I'll...
We were already.
Because our cameras work.
No one-
Penis.
Yes.
So, you know. Hey, congrats, Jenny.
Congrats, Jenny.
Yay!
We're really happy for you.
We read it before we went live, but we obviously didn't say anything. But congratulations. That's awesome.
Well, some of us are looking good, Ian. I think Bryce
But is
mostly
it really
looking
that small?
very Gaussian.
Is what small? What? I
Nothing,
hate
nothing.
you. I hate you. I watched the last episode back. I know.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and I saw the bits where you were just literally planning on
still
giving me.
fell for
I'm
it
back.
again?
I'm back. I did because
And you still went for it. It's great.
very easy to push my buttons, as Greg will attest.
As I will attest too.
Yeah. All you have
Different
to do is
buttons.
all you have to do is make you play one game of deathmatch using a sheriff.
Yeah.
You get all sulky because you don't get enough kills.
Anyway, it's Sunday night. Welcome to episode 66 of the Chronicles of Nidum, run by us at Dice of the Beholder and streamed
Execute
through the
episode
wonderful
66.
and accommodating Heavyweight Gaming. Before I go into the chat about the sponsors for the evening, good news. Mill,
Good news, everyone!
exclamation mark, donate, please.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna have to pull up all the commands again.
Yes. As you can see in the chat at the moment, or if you've been watching any of the other wonderful games streamed through the week on Heavyweight Gaming, there is an upcoming, again, 24-hour? 48? I think it's 24.
I think it's 24 this
A
time.
24-hour D&D live stream. Because it's gone so well before. No, it has gone so well before. Obviously, we were involved in the first one that AD ran, and barring sound issues and hours in the middle that I can't remember because of sleep deprivation, we had a really, really good time and raised quite a bit of money for Birmingham Children's Hospital. This time, we are... AD is looking to raise money for the McIntyre charity, an amazing charity that works with people with learning disabilities and or autism.
I'm
and does
really glad
amazing
now
work
that I
with them.
didn't make the joke about how it was a charity trying to teach Michael McIntyre what comedy is before.
You know what? I was waiting for you to make a joke, and I was going to have to come in here and batter you.
But yes, that is coming up. Please obviously go and check out Heavyweight Gaming on Facebook and Twitter for more information coming up in the future. I'm sure AD will start to spread details, but I do know that it is going to be set in AD's homebrew world of Colossus. Which is fantastic. If you are watching their streams, their Fable streams, it's a lot of fun, a lot of very interesting locales that they visit, a lot of very fantastic adventures that they have had, all designed, written by AD and obviously his compatriots. The players of the 24-hour one-shot are going to be the wonderful and amazing Short Rest Tavern. You can find them on twitch.tv/Short Rest Tavern. They are currently streaming one-shots of all the Candlekeep mysteries on Monday nights. And the charity was actually chosen by one of the players of Short Rest Tavern as well. Also, along with their Monday night stream on /Short Rest Tavern, you can catch them on Friday nights on Heavyweight Gaming right here as their DM runs them through Rhymes of the Frost Maiden, or Rhyme of the Frost Maiden. But yes, so it's Short Rest Tavern are going to be the players, AD is going to be the DM, and I can't wait to watch it because it is going to be awesome, because AD is a fantastic DM, and he did promise me a game this year, and I'm still waiting. Adrian, wait. Thank you very much. But yes, back to our stream. Again, a word about our sponsors. First of all, there is the wonderful Loki Battle Mat. We're an amazing, award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle mats, little, big, giant sizes. The modular battle mat book sets are full of amazing artwork and add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. If you are interested in finding out more, please search Loki Battle Mat, Loke, on Facebook, or visit lokibattlemats.com. Link is in the chat to view their amazing artwork and shop their physical, and find out how to also then shop for their digital maps as well on DriveThruRPG. Second sponsor, don't actually know whether their sale is still going on, but second sponsor returning again is the wonderful Blink Dog Dice, a fantastic little local Cardiff-based dice creator. Pop over to their Etsy store. I believe now all of the players and myself and quite a lot of the people in chat now own versions or now own some Blink Dog dice, and they will attest to their quality. So please pop over there, show them some love, especially in these trying times when all small businesses are struggling a little. Please go over and spend as much as you possibly can.
I'm eagerly awaiting my order from them that's coming very soon.
Your most
dispatch
recent
notice.
30 quid's worth of dice.
Shh. It's in the chat. But I got a dispatch notification yesterday. Friday rather. So I'm very excited.
Good.
I'm done sharing all the links now, guys. You can go back to normal chat.
But yes, so without further ado,
Just seen the pink confetti set. Oh god.
is everyone ready to play some D&D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I told you before the game I don't want to.
Unfortunately, we are without an ace today,
Yes,
but
we are
they
without
send
an
their
ace.
Yeah, I was not feeling well.
Also, Bright, the
Well,
battle
without
map.
them, Ace will be here.
Yes, the battle map camera is just a black box. Is there a
Yeah.
reason for that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right.
Uh-oh.
As long as you're
First
aware
off,
that
over
it's
it.
there.
Bryce got a secret.
Got a secret. Can
You had the
keep
dwarven
it?
forge stuff out earlier.
Oh, nice. That's a throwback, Millie.
Go on, pierces.
Last time on the Chronicles of Nidum. Last time on the Chronicles of Nidum,
I still.
you woke on a day eagerly awaited, but a little feared, the day that you were to free the slaves on the train. A lot of different problems, obstacles have been put in your way with the increased Inquisitor presence, the addition of one of the Empire's knights to try and stop you. However, after carefully going over your plans, working out how you were going to split the group, working out who was going to be distracting the knight, you put those plans into action. Through a series of fantastic circumstances and very quick thinking, the controls were taken, or the control carriage was taken by Quill and Dice, who hypnotized the goblins and locked them in their own sleeping compartment, killed an Inquisitor, and threw them off the train. It was then up to Orianna to distract the knight, possibly for long enough for you to get to Paras without the knight discovering who had freed the humans. It was then that Orianna showed the streak of brilliance, of genius.
Goblin brain.
Not only did Orianna distract the knight and the Inquisitors, Orianna then enthralled the knight and the Inquisitors. Trying one last time, getting the knight alone to determine whether they could be swayed to your side, you discovered the xenophobia that was too deep-seated in the knight for her mind to be changed, and with a heavy heart, kicked the knight off the train with the parting gift of a fireball to light their way. You then took on the guise
Rest
of the
the
knight.
Inquisition.
And through a series of very persuasive arguments and much quick thinking, managed to get all of the Inquisition into the rear, or now what was the rearmost carriage of the train, investigating the knight's disappearance. The disappearance of the other Inquisitor and the humans. It was there that you, again, showed your magical might, blowing up the connection between that carriage and the rest of the train, sending the knights sailing off a cliff into a copse of trees to be crushed in the concertina effect of the crumpled carriage. With that, you spent a leisurely week, relaxing and waiting until you eventually caught sight, on the day you were to arrive, of Paras.
Parasect. Sorry, Paras.
And there, waking up the next day, you find yourselves as you wake up, as you look out of the window, it is darker than you've become used to. Clear skies, letting a lot of sunshine into the carriage. Your carriage is now in shadow. It is well past dawn when you wake, but the sound of the train passage is different as well. And as you look out the window, you realise that the sky is mostly blocked out by buildings. They pass quite slowly, also. You are no longer travelling at top speed. It would appear, as you pass by all of these buildings, some of grey stone, some of red brick, some coated in marble, that you are slowing to pull in to the city of Paras.
Sorry, I think I had a dog hair in my ear and it kept tickling.
That's okay.
I hate when that happens.
What did you do?
The city, as you wake up in the morning, you are pulling slowly into the city of Paras, and the skyline and the horizon is kind of blotted
Sweet.
out by the built-up nature of all the buildings around you.
Sweet. I start making
guys.
sure all my stuff is packed.
Yeah, I'm wandering around trying to shove like the teapot and everything in the bag of holding. And I try and pack it with tea in it and then realise this is a mistake and empty the tea out and then try and pack the teapot. And hey guys, I'm not sure I can remember how to walk on something that's not moving.
I'm sure you'll get it.
I haven't been on this train quite as long as you, but it does feel like we've been here for
Like half a year.
at least a month.
It's been such a long time. I've gotten used to how things work on here.
Yes. How does one find food if it's not just brought to your carriage every morning?
I'm hoping we'll go to where your family live and
You're right, they probably will just bring us food or we'll go to a dining room.
I was going to ask, are we going to stay at your family's home or are we going to get an inn?
I certainly will ask if any family members in the city have rooms. I believe my auntie lives here some of the time, and her residence is quite spacious. It's probably a wing that she can do.
That would definitely make my purse happy.
A wing. My parents had 3 rooms.
I'll put
I
two.
lived
Per
in one of
wing?
them. No, the entire house was 3 rooms.
Those must have been some bloody big rooms.
Ours was 2.
Well, we had 2 bedrooms upstairs.
2 rooms, luxury.
There
With
was
shoe at middle of road.
my
I hope
bedroom
Eddie's not listening.
and then the rest of the house. Because Nanny slept in like the living room area because she's this big. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm following so far.
Well, we had an outhouse and then I just bathed in the river.
Yeah, I didn't count the outhouse. That was down the garden. Why would you? It's not part of the house, really, is it?
There wasn't
Just a little cottage.
There wasn't a hot spring feeding a pool in the basement or anything.
No, there
We
was a
had
river.
a river. It was a great river. We had a lot of fun. We made rafts and Ori tried to drown me that
I mean,
one
in the
time.
winter, you'd bring the tin bath in and fill that up and heat it and then...
Of course.
How?
But only like once a week, once every 2 weeks-ish.
There is a knock at the door.
Oh, do enter.
The door opens. It is the maitre d'. Bonjour. Good morning.
Is it?
Well, I would hope it will be, sir, as it is my pleasure to
Yes, I
confirm.
recall. I skip.
It is my pleasure to confirm to you that we are due to pull into the station in Paris within half an hour. It is slow going. Unfortunately, they have been doing some work on the tracks.
Do you expect to pull out on time?
If only.
Of course, we are a couple of days ahead of schedule because we did not obviously make our third stop. So, unfortunately, this work it has not been completed. So, please, if you would still like some breakfast, I can bring some to you, or if you would prefer, if you do not want to rush to eat, I can recommend a local establishment near the station.
No, I think we'll have some breakfast here, please.
Oui, of course. I obviously on the happenstance that you were to say yes to some breakfast, I had some prepared for you.
Is this the guy who wants a job, Rich?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was,
and
yeah.
Could you not tell?
And as he says yes to the breakfast, he just waves his hand and 3 waiters bring in platters of food.
Do you know the area? You know Paris? Your way around?
Oui, I was born in Paris.
What would you say is the easiest way to get to the southern quarter?
Fortunately, the station is situated almost in the center, near the Palace District.
So you're saying go south?
Well, the easiest way to go south would be not through. There is what we call the Market District. It is quite close to the palace. However, the Market District is quite busy, especially in the morning, throughout the rest of the day. It dies down during the night. There is the Pleasure District, but that is further north. What would be quicker at this time of day was if you first went west to the Merchant District, where all of the guilds have their houses, their warehouses, their accounting offices, and obviously some of them have their estates. It is much more quiet during the morning, but it is easier then to move through there and then move further south. What are you looking for? South of?
The Broken Sun Scimitar?
The Broken Sun.
I think it's an inn.
Oui. That is on the river. It is not the nicest place to have. Well, I do not even think they do food.
My travelling companion has eclectic tastes.
Oui. There is obviously the Pleasure Quarter, which is in the lower city. You've got the Palace District, which is the center, the lower city, made up of the theaters, the taverns, the Market District, the Merchant District, the living district of all of the upper class. Then you have the lows, as we call them, in your tongue anyway. That is where you will find most people live, and taverns are as plentiful, if not as picturesque, as the houses themselves. If someone finds a barrel of beer, their house may become, how you say, a pop-up tavern overnight. But the Broken Sun Scimitar does seem to endure along the waterfront.
Thank you.
As long as you go close to the river, you will find it eventually.
What was your name again, Mr. Exposition, was it?
I mean, genuinely, dice is like this now.
Monsieur Info Dump?
I am Gerard.
Gerard what?
Gerard.
Because he knows the way.
Gerard d'Exposition.
Canon.
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
all just stand there staring at him until he leaves.
You're welcome. Au revoir.
As an automaton, I go,
And he closes the door.
fuck me. That was... I
Just wanted directions to one place.
I couldn't even stand by the end. He went on for so long, I was just drifting slowly downwards. Not the best automaton act I've ever done. Hey, is this one of your socks? And I start throwing around stuff I'm packing.
One looks at their bandage-wrapped feet.
Probably not. Ace?
Yeah, I think that's Ace. That's Ace's sock.
And Ace takes the sock from you.
But is
It's
it
like-
that sock?
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. It's got rust on the outside.
Then it's not that sock.
Ace kind of looks at you, confused, not understanding it at all.
All of Ace's socks have rust on the outside as far as I've been able to observe.
Yeah, they look after their
Armor.
armor very well.
See.
I just pack.
I think they're more just rust colour.
It's
It could be blood. Dried blood does go a sort of brownish orange.
I have a dilemma.
Do tell.
I do not want to walk around constantly as Sylvia.
Mhm.
Okay.
But if the Inquisitor is in town
And you're a purple
and
tiefling.
people start talking about a purple tiefling,
Now would be a really good time to turn yourself blue.
yes, but I'm also trying to get the attention of another tiefling who's probably only going to want to pay attention to me if I'm a tiefling.
All
You
right,
could
just
turn yourself into a green tiefling. Are there
I've
green
been
tieflings?
green. I've been green.
you've been
I've
blue
been
too.
blue. Currently
Abadi
violet.
abadai.
Thinking about
Alright.
it, you've probably still got some spray.
Yeah, but I've also got disguise self, so
Yeah.
Ari, just be purple. It's a big city. If we encounter the Inquisitor, we'll deal with it then. But
yeah, do you know what? Fuck it.
be yourself.
I'm going to be myself.
Okay, Genie.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be myself. I'll be Sylvia when we get off the train, and once we're clear of the station, I will be myself.
To be fair, you could always just change the style of your horns slightly, and
Yes,
But-
could you be a slightly different purple tiefling?
then you could look really confused. Of course, a slightly different purple tiefling. And actually, last time the Inquisitor saw you as you were in the company. That could be confusing though, because he's seen you as Sylvia in our company.
The last time he saw me as me, I was blue.
So
But
he's
he
never
is
seen
aware
you.
that there is a purple tiefling in the group. I'm gonna be me.
It's
you.
gonna be me.
Not for much longer.
But tomorrow it's still gonna be me.
Anyway, I need to send a message to Jairus
Yes.
and let him know that we're here early.
Find out where he wants to meet us too.
Well, that's with the sun scimitars. But if he wants to meet me, he's somewhere else now.
Wasn't there somewhere else you wanted to go? You were given directions to find someone, something to do with the blood trace, something.
We can find somebody here for that.
Oh, has a blank expression.
There
we
were,
don't
there
exactly
were
know
no
where.
there were no
We were not-
directions given. There were
Just that we might find somebody here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I sent a message to Jairus
Mhm.
that's arrived in Paras early. When do you want to meet and where?
I have been delayed.
Oh,
Give me a week.
A week. 1 week.
It's Ben.
1 week.
1 week since you looked at me. I need to find some gnomes. I know it's not a priority, but I need to find some.
Any in particular, or just? No?
Actually, no, just some gnomes.
You woke up with a craving.
I like to eat gnomes. No.
I assumed it was a sexual craving, but okay. I didn't realise I'd throw my lot in with cannibals.
Flandel has asked me to investigate a few things.
Flandel.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Flandel Steelskin, known god. Also my god.
You get used to it, Quill.
Nope, I'm not sure I ever will.
We could find you a god.
I have a god?
Have you tried speaking to them recently?
No.
Give it a go.
No.
I mean,
Speaking
alright.
of gods, I need to find a temple.
Yeah. Maybe I should make a list. And I start making a list of all the things we're supposed to be doing. Actually, I might make a list of all the things we're supposed to be doing.
I'm
Joking aside.
currently doing that.
Some piece of paper that's not horribly screwed up on my desk.
Okay. As you make your list then of things you are planning on doing in Paras,
That's okay.
the train slows even further until the light outside does brighten. And as you look out of the window, you see that the buildings themselves have fallen back. And you are now pulling into what appears to be a huge crystal dome. High above you, held together by nothing but other crystalline structures. It appears to float there, not suspended or held by any pillar or post that you can determine.
What's
But
the crystal?
It is green. The light is quite sickly as it comes through, but the crystal itself is almost see-through.
Right.
Yeah?
Do I see Richard O'Brien?
Crystal maze spray.
This is not the crystal maze.
Are you sure? Because...
It's not the crystal maze.
Okay.
If you shaved off your beard...
No, I just tidied it up a bit.
No, but if you shaved off your beard...
Oh, right. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Very high praise. I'm not...
Anyway, back on track.
No, off track. We're getting off the train.
Yeah. God, babe.
You do see next to you the ground start to rise slowly until marble paving stones meet the height of the doors of the train.
Captain America won.
And the train eventually comes to a full stop. The platforms next to you are full of people. You can see carts waiting patiently to offload cargo, luggage. You can see people waiting to get on, people waiting to clean it. You can also see quite a large contingent of automatons and inquisitors. As the train stops, no one else makes a move apart from the automatons and inquisitors who start to stalk towards the train.
Ooh, definitely staying as Sylvia.
I turn invisible. Like, just as a reflex, I'm like, there!
Okay.
Okay.
Actually,
I looked at where Dice was just standing to say something, and they're not there. Oh, what the fuck?
I'm actually going to do it slightly differently. Still as sort of a reflex. I'm actually going to cast invisibility at 3rd level, and I'm going to get 1 as well.
All right. Okay. So as the rest of you look around the room, then quite obviously, 1 and Dice have completely disappeared. And it is just now Orianna, Quill, and Ace, who I'm going to assume is now a half-orc. Yeah.
Acting as my bodyguard.
Gathering your belongings, then, there is a knock at the train door. There is a knock at the cabin door. After a few minutes.
Hello.
The door opens. In walks a tall, spindly quite sickly looking elf in the dark garb of the Inquisition. Shaved head, narrow eyes, just kind of looks around the room.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonjour, you are visiting? You're returning?
I am visiting family.
Ah, so it is pleasure or business?
Possibly a little of both, I imagine.
And where from do you hail?
I hail from Albion.
Albion? A savage land? No?
Yes, but my family is not from there originally, you understand.
Where is your family from?
From Italia. The Fragrant Peaks.
Ah, oui, you are connected with the other Fragrant Peak merchant family?
Indeed. Hence, both business and pleasure.
Oh,
And the pleasure.
roll a persuasion check.
Which one of them?
I mean, I'm the one lying.
Well, persuasion would be Quill.
Okay.
With advantage, because Ori's helping?
Yeah, go on then.
Sick. Oh, I mean, it's not gonna suck, but I don't actually remember. I'm still picking my spells for 7th level, so I just need to reopen my character sheet. Give me
That's
2
okay.
seconds. Persuasion is +0, so that is 17 plus nothing, which is 17.
We do it.
I have heard from my compatriots that the Guild of Other Fragrant Peaks has family and offices everywhere. So,
This is true.
do you have any paperwork to prove who you are?
Do I have any paperwork to prove who I am? Yes.
You have letters and
Yeah, I would have thought that would be stuff that I would have. Yes, I do.
You have at least one letter from your aunt confirming if you ever wish to visit. Obviously, you can call upon her, and it is instead of being just signed, it is stamped with. It's quite officious. Yeah.
I will get out of one of my my books satchel, which
Mm-hmm.
is a bag of holding. I'll get quite a ridiculous stack of paper. So I'll say, this is a letter from my aunt inviting me to visit her in the city. This is my family genealogy, as you can see the family tree showing me here. Quill. That's Eleanor.
I do not need to see all of this.
And this
the
here is-
letter will suffice.
This is these are several letters from and to my father bearing the family crest and seal, as you can see. Here is
He holds up his hand to get you to stop, and then clicks his fingers, and the automaton walks in behind him, and the automaton's hand detaches, and then out of the end of it is presented a monocle, but it's convex or concave, can't remember which, like a small jeweler's kind of
Loop.
magnifying glass, a jeweler's loop, and the automaton hovers it in front of the Inquisitor's eye as he peers at the wax seal at the bottom of the letter from your aunt. This all appears above board.
Thank you. I'm glad that it meets with your approval. What can we do to aid the Great Inquisition today?
Most of the people on this train will be detained. Those who cannot give an adequate reason for travel. Unfortunately, there has been obviously some trouble on the train, and a great deal of valuable cargo has gone missing.
Oh my, I'm sorry to hear that. I did hear some commotion at times, but as you can imagine, I was rather diverted. And I sort of nod towards Orianna.
You have papers confirming that you are invited to Paris. You have obviously somewhere to stay if we need to call on you again. Your family will be our first port of call.
I'm always honoured to host members of the Inquisition, and anything that I can do to facilitate your great works.
Your name?
Elenil.
Elenial.
Yes.
If we need to ask for you when we call on your family, I'm sure they can direct us. You may step off the train. The Metro D has spoken very highly of you and has put his neck on the line for your good behavior.
He's a fine and diligent gentleman.
I am sure. Behave
Well, thank you.
yourselves while you are in Paris.
But not too much, of course.
The laws...
There is, after all, a
the-
fate, I believe. Festival.
His face, while up until now has been aloof, quite condescending, turns into a grimace at the mention of the mention of the celebration. It is not something he is looking forward to, it would appear.
I pretend not to notice.
Yes, of course. It is, of course, the prerogative of the royal family in all of their glory to arrange these celebrations
Well, of course.
for their prince.
Long may he live.
I will, Yes, thank you for being so cooperative. You may enjoy yourselves in Paris.
Thank you, and I wish you all success in your ventures, whatever
Please.
they may be.
Please know that the laws in Paris are stricter than across the water in Albion.
Indeed, I had heard.
I hope we do not meet again.
Oh, well, I've found this to be very pleasant. I was looking forward to your company in my family's home.
A second meeting with myself does not normally bore or bear well for the people that I am meeting.
Certainly, but a law-abiding citizen such as myself has nothing to fear from the Inquisition.
Let us hope that is true. Au revoir. And he walks
Good
off.
day. Ugh.
What did I miss, guys? Sorry, I had to.
Somebody woke up with a broomstick shoved up their ass.
Yes, what a rather officious gentleman, wasn't he?
As you are the only inhabited carriage or cabin in this carriage, you are free to do what you will.
How about we get off of here? I'm going to stay invisible.
Let's go to Paris. Let's visit and see Paris.
Okay. And it is then, as you step off the train onto the platform, on your first solid footing in Paris, the wall of sound of the city hits you as you open the door and step out. As you gaze off into the distance and the doors of this station, you can see between you and the doors thousands of people moving to and fro, stepping off another train, possibly from the south. There's another train that looks like it came in from the east. And there are countless heads in front of you. You see here before you as many people as you saw in Cardiff. And you have not even yet left the station.
Never been.
As
Never been to Cardiff.
as I'm still invisible, I'm going to hold on to the back of Ori to make sure that I don't get separated or, more importantly,
walk where my wings are but can't be seen.
yeah, and to make sure I can't be bumped into. And I'm going to drag one sort of very close behind me. I've been holding one's hand this entire time because they're not used to being invisible. So,
Okay. As you walk through the station then and try and make your way through the people, stepping quite carefully, Ori, so as to make sure that people don't just fill in behind you and bump into your invisible companions, you notice, or a shout from above. A load of people to your left step out of the way, and being lowered down from the ceiling comes a large platform. It's stacked high with boxes, the furniture, luggage, but also some storage. And as you look up, you can now just see through the slightly clouded crystal an airship offloading passengers, and you can see a crystalline kind of catwalk structure that eventually would bring any passengers down to the floor, but their luggage seems to be coming down much quicker.
Next time we travel like that.
I don't want to ever get on a train again.
Right, are there any other members of the Inquisition around as we're leaving the train?
Roll me a perception check.
Yes, sir. Well, that is a 6.
6.
Yeah, big 6.
I mean, it would appear that black is in this season, and as you look around, there are many black-clad men, women, even children walking about the place of all races.
I'm going to ask Orianna if she sees any Inquisitors.
Perception check, please, Orianna.
9.
Guys, seriously.
Orianna's eye catches
I am
someone
overwhelmed.
that you believe to be that they believe to be an Inquisitor, pointing it out to you, but you'd already clocked the fact that they were just a very tall child in, their rebellious phase.
Okay.
What a goth teen.
Did we see where the Inquisitor we just spoke to went? Did he continue down the train?
He was on continuing on the train. Your train, as you look back now, your train appears to be the only one that no one is getting off.
I'm gonna move along the train a little bit and see if I can spot him through a window.
Okay.
Preferably without being super obvious about it.
Okay. You can do that. It's a large crowd. You don't need to roll stealth or anything, but it takes you maybe 5 minutes, but you do eventually then, on your second pass back up the train, as you try and jostle your way through the crowd, you do spy him stepping out of another cabin. There is a man behind him who's kind of hands up in the air, ranting, appears to be quite red in the face, and that man is then manhandled by 2 automatons back into his cabin.
Do the members of the Inquisition carry any insignia or anything?
They do.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to pickpocket him for it using Mage Hand.
Okay. So you're going to put... Which of the train windows are open on this side of the train now? With
the Mage Hand can be summoned anywhere within 30 feet. So.
Okay.
I just need to be able to see it. If I can see it through a window, I think that counts.
You absolutely can. Roll me a sleight of hand check.
Insist. That is... it's only a 9, but I do add 17 to that. So 26.
Great.
He's got a pretty high passive percent. No, yeah, that's it. It's fine. Yeah. So you take his insignia.
Cool.
The mage hand invisibly
Sorry.
floats back through the door, open window, depositing it into your hand as well.
Excellent.
All this time, the rest of you.
Later.
All this time, the rest of you have been making your way towards the door of the station.
Yeah, I want to get out of the station.
Okay. And then you're going to go catch up with them, Quill.
Yes,
yeah?
I will try and catch up with them as quickly as possible.
Well, as Quill can move much quicker than the rest of you then, because they're not hiding, obviously, 2 invisible people behind them, you do...
And because I'm just fast as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Fast as fuck, boy!
You do eventually, all of you, find yourselves meeting at the doors once again. Leading out into the street, the doors are about 30 foot across, 20 foot tall. And as it spills out onto the street in front of you has beautifully fitted stone. It's a stone road. The buildings across from it, or directly opposite the station, appear to be mostly hotels. From what you can tell, restaurants. They are, at the bottom of them, grey stone. The upper floors, which you thought Londinium was advanced, the buildings opposite you are about 10 to 15 stories tall. These are the biggest buildings you've ever seen, apart from the Crystal Tower in Cardiff. And as you look at it, you can see that the penthouses of all of these buildings appear to be made of the same kind of crystal that you see prevalent everywhere in the Empire.
I'm still invisible.
In the street outside, there are more people than there were in the station.
I hate it. I say that behind Ori. Like, there's so many people.
There is a lot of people. But makes it easier to get lost.
Can you stay here for 2 seconds? Can I see an alleyway that I can drag one into and drop the spell?
You can, yeah. There's you see an alleyway across the road. However, roll me a perception check, everybody.
Okay.
I love perception checks. They're my favourite checks.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20.
18. Rolled
Okay.
13.
I rolled a 14.
Okay.
Oh, and Ace. Oh, pretty good. That's an 18 plus whatever Ace adds to that, which is 22.
I got 22, but nat 20.
Having
Nice.
attended all of the same lessons, and it being of particular interest to you, Orianna, your patron god, of course, being Hades, you spy a cart waiting patiently outside the station. There are 4 horses, beautiful, huge, black Frisians, long hair,
Apocalypse.
fantastically brushed, stunning, beautiful beasts that look like
Dream
they could
horse.
kill you with one kick. The cart on the back of it, on the back or attached to these 4 horses, is covered in beautifully carved scrollwork, but the language that you find intermixed with a lot of these pictures is Grecian. And across, in quite bold, large letters, you see, Apoliteus Gladiator School. On the back of the cart, you see the largest half-orc, possibly orc, you've ever seen. Like, there might have been a half-orc in his lineage somewhere, but there's more orc now than there is the other half, whatever the other half was. He is 7 foot tall and wide. And
Ori is just sat staring completely disrespectfully.
driving the cart, you see, topless, at first, it reminds you of the werewolf that you encountered in Cimria. Until you see its quite tall, very tall, pointed ears that stand straight up on the back of its head, and its long, thin snout tapering to a point. All of the fur over its upper torso is jet black, and you can see the kind of harem pants he wears cinched up by a hero belt with daggers ringing it. And again, you look back at your studies of all of the other gods elsewhere that you perused until you found Hades. And he looks like Anubis.
I take it we've all spotted this.
Yeah, you've all spotted this.
I will drag one off to the alleyway across the road first. And try and be out of sight so I can drop invisibility. Can I see anyone down the alleyway or anywhere to hide down there?
As you get into the alleyway, then, there are a few unfortunate destitutes sitting in the alleyway, waiting for their chance to kind
Are
of...
they humans?
No.
Okay.
There's one gnome, a dragonborn, and a dwarf. Or a Durga. You're not quite sure which through the grime.
There's a gnome down there.
Well, the grey skin, the dark rings around his eyes. He looks like a deep gnome. You've seen many of them.
It's fine. Is there anywhere I can hide where they can't see me? Us?
Yeah, they're not really looking at you.
Okay. Then I'll drop the spell and then walk back over as an automaton with a human
Okay.
to where Ori and everyone is by the cart.
As you get back to the cart, then, the half man, half what appears to be jackal kind of sniffs at the air, turns to you, and zeroes in on one. You smell like sand and blood and fur.
Oh, that might have been me, actually.
The fur.
No, you smell like ink and books and
Fur?
soft things.
Gestures to self?
Sorry.
Say do me, but I imagine I just smell like sulfur.
In your language, fur is not same as in my language. When I say fur, I mean my bald, muscly friend who wears many furs and leathers. He goes and finds
Pelts.
the fighters. Yes.
Do you always
Pelts could
greet
be
people?
another name.
Do you always greet people by telling them what they smell like?
Yes.
What do I smell like? As an automaton, I'm going to raise my hand.
You smell strange. In a good way.
Thanks.
You smell like metal. Oil.
Right, what's this fool smell like?
What?
What's this fool smell like? I want to know what he smells like.
Roll me a perception check.
I am part cat. Do I get it?
I'll give you with feline senses, I suppose. I'll give you. But you also smell
Oh, Jesus Christ, I rolled 2 7s.
not just of oil and
11.
metal. You smell like paper, but strong paper. There is something to you.
I like you.
You have
It's the
met.
weirdest flirting I've ever fucking heard.
I like this guy a lot.
You have met
Dog.
Kovaris, yes?
Is he talking to one or the rest of us?
All of you.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the guy that saw us by? Then yes.
Do I not smell anything with an 11? I must smell something.
It smells like a dog.
At the moment, the smell of the city is overpowering you. This is weird. There is that kind of a little bit like wet dog, maybe.
I tell him he smells like wet dog.
You smell like
No, you already did me. I'm telling you, you smell like wet dog. It's my turn. It's our turn. Everyone sniff this guy.
It's hard to smell through the armor.
how many of you are coming?
I point to one.
Ah, the strongest.
One. Just one. One.
It's just an ace. It's just like. "You mean it's strong?"
What the fuck?
There is strength, I suppose, to hiding your soft bits behind armor.
Where do you keep your soft bits, fella?
On
Can I
full
find
display
out?
to my enemies, challenging them to try.
That's
right, your fly
why.
is
That's
low.
why I dress how I do. Okay, that's.
Yes, Orianna, no one's ever questioning where you keep your soft bits, dear.
Your ability to distract is your armor. He says to
Yeah.
Orianna.
Yeah.
So the rest of you are not fighters. You will not come to the game.
Well,
What are you talking about? I love fighting.
we are fighters, but unfortunately we are fighters with a different goal, I think.
The same can sometimes be said of us.
We have other things to be dealing with.
We would like to visit though. This one is a friend of ours, and I would like to come and spend more time.
Well, make it sometime in the next 2 weeks. These games are dangerous, and one, depending on how well they do, may not be there for you to visit for much longer.
Is there gambling at these events?
There is.
One will be just fine.
The same, some people say, for all of them. And he looks into the carriage. There's the half-orc, there's 2 other humans.
I'm still side-eyeing that orc.
Tabaxi.
Like, I'm trying to make eye contact with that orc.
The orc, for all of his size, is smiling and looking, not gormlessly, but kind of wide-eyed and slack-jawed around at the city as if he's never seen anything so high and so well-made and so built up. He seems to be, he's got a very naive kind of joy in his eyes as he kind of looks around at all of this wonderful, wonderful civilization that he's never experienced.
I'll turn to Anubis.
Just seems kind of happy to be there.
Yeah, I'll turn to Anubis boy. By any chance, would you know for a Grecian temple around here?
Strange question. Why?
So I can pray to my patron.
You really gonna greet people by telling them how they smell and then question other people's social graces? It's a bold move, fella.
I like him.
This is your first time in Paras, yes?
Yes.
Obviously.
Does everyone in Paras tell you how you smell right up front?
Bill.
I know of some old spaces beneath the city that are forbidden, shall we say? I know myself of the Egyptian temples, but I suppose there are ruins that not even I would have ventured into without need. If you want temples, look below.
How do I get below?
Ah, the Undercity.
Catacombs.
You need to know someone. No, catacombs. No. A city built on top of a city. What you see is now around you. It is a mask. It is only what they have put there to show you. The bones of this city, what lies beneath, that is the true Paras.
And where would I find someone who would get me there?
The slums.
Perhaps.
Broken Sun Scimitar, perhaps?
There are many. Especially for one such as you. And he looks at you, Orianna. But he's not looking... He is looking at you, but it's like he's looking through you. And as he sniffs the air, you get the feeling that he knows you're not all you're showing.
Yeah.
I believe if you make yourself known, they may come to you.
Well, that was my plan anyway. Once I'm further from, and I just gesture back to the train station.
I have a question for you.
Yes. But I must be going. And you see one jump onto the cart behind him.
Who is your god? You said you visit the Egyptian temples. Who is your god?
The one above all. The one who sees all. The Father. The light.
Help me, Rich. My dice might know, but I don't.
You
I'm better with Greek than I am with Egyptian.
roll me a religion
Guessing
check
raw,
with
right?
advantage.
Be raw.
Well, you'd assume
Or
so.
Horus.
But for a guy who looks like Anubis, I'd be surprised.
Anubis,
check.
Anubis is a good guy.
Yeah.
Religion check with advantage. Oh, 17?
You do... There is a as you go through your memory, there is the possibility that he could be talking about either Osiris or more probably Ra.
Osiris is the king of the living.
You know your gods.
Some of them. Some of them better than others.
The important ones, at least.
It was nice to meet you. One moment, and I'm going to run round and very quickly lift the front of my helmet and give one a kiss on the cheek, and then go back to my friends.
One peers over the back of the cart. Please, do not take too long to come and visit me. This is a large city. I cannot say in all confidence that I will be able to best all of the warriors that will be in the arena.
One,
Well, you
if
better
you
have
die,
one.
we're going to kill you.
You better best a fair amount of them. I'm going to be placing fairly large wagers on you.
Oh, then if you are betting on me to win, then I had better
Get
do
training?
my best to get your money back.
Might be a cat, who knows? Don't die.
I'll try
Yes.
not to.
We'll visit. Wait, where do we find you? I yell that at the Anubis guy. Because I don't know where you are.
You will find us in the arena in the pleasure district.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Colosseum brought stone by stone from Roma when they destroyed it.
Well,
That's
hopefully we'll
actually
see you there
interesting.
soon. I think we'll be heading to that district anyway.
Yes, we will.
It has been interesting.
Agreed.
You, and he looks at you, Quill.
Me?
Yes. Get your hands dirty.
I lost
They're not-
you for a second. Who were you talking to?
Well,
Quill.
They're maybe not quite as clean as they may appear, sir. One saw me fight. They'll vouch for me.
Will beat me in a fight with very little difficulty.
We shall see. Well met. Yeah.
Somewhat.
And as he calls, not even twitching the reins, the horses as one start to canter away.
those horses are beautiful.
Was it just me or was he kind of hot?
It was just you.
That was just you, and that's coming from me.
You
You've
think?
got. Listen, if you have a dog thing, that's something we can unpack later.
Does that mean everyone who goes with you must have a cat thing?
Everybody wants to be with a cat.
Everybody wants to be a cat. I've always been more of a dog person. And I pat
Evidently.
Quill on the back. Let's
It
go
doesn't
find.
hurt my feelings, Dice. I do all right.
I feel awkward.
Shall we
Alright.
head to the pleasure district and find somewhere to stay there until Quill has sorted out rooming with his auntie? Is that actually a good idea to stay with your family?
Why
I don't
not?
want to bring trouble to them.
Well, yeah, that reason.
I wouldn't worry about it. They have enough influence to withstand most forms of trouble that we could bring.
Including the people who are currently running a rebellion.
I just don't want to.
I wouldn't recommend discussing it over dinner if we're invited, but
I just don't want to inflict danger upon.
And
You should know. Places we've stayed before have been blown up as we left. We are not always the easiest house guests.
Auntie is an incredibly resilient woman, and I trust in her ability to turn any and all situations we may place her into her ultimate advantage.
All right. Shall we go to your auntie's then?
Yes, let's do.
Start there.
Lead the way.
Can you lead the way?
I start walking in, in whatever direction I see fancier buildings in.
You do see, well, all the buildings around you are quite built up. They're quite high. It's very difficult for you to see anything apart from more and more buildings off into the distance and side streets branching off them. You seem to be on quite a long main thoroughfare at the moment. And however, outside the station, there are cabs. There are like carriages with 2 horses on the front of them, large enough to fit your party.
This does look a little more appropriate than showing up on foot.
Genius. Let's do it.
Excellent. We will go and find a carriage.
Okay. All of the carriages are being driven by deep gnomes.
What ho, my good man, I say as I approach one of them.
Bonjour, monsieur. Ça va?
Oui, ça va bien. We wish to go to the Manor of the Fragrant Peaks, if that is possible.
No taverne I've ever heard of.
It is not a tavern. It is a manor.
What are they? The Fragrant Peaks.
It's Have you been driving carriages in this city for long?
Un moment. Pierre! And he shouts back at the gnome behind him.
Où est la manne de Fragrant Peaks?
Fragrant Peaks! Now? The other guy, who is actively eating olives right now out of a pot in front of him, goes, Fragrant Peaks! Ah, oui, merchant! Yes, oui! The merchants district.
Good lord.
Yes, it would be in the merchants' district, I suspect.
Please. And he gestures to the door of the carriage. Doesn't get down to open it for you.
I will open it for Orianna, Dice, and Ace to get in.
Okay. You all get
I
in the carriage?
stand back looking confused because automatons definitely do not get in before their owners.
Get in, Dice.
Just get in, Quill.
No, this is a battle of wills now, and Quill will wait until Dice gets in the fucking carriage.
We stand there for a solid 5 minutes going.
And I just keep doing this.
Stick my head back out. I'm like, one of you get in, or we'll go without you.
Excusez-moi.
You literally cannot go without me.
Excusez-moi, there are other passengers. If you wish to remain here.
I get into the carriage.
I get into the carriage also.
Okay. And with a click from his tongue, you hear the carriage begin to move and feel it.
Is it an enclosed carriage? Like no one can see inside?
It is. It's higher up than the street level anyway. The windows in the doors on either side have like a curtain you can push across. It's not completely enclosed.
I shove the curtain across and I drop disguise self.
Okay.
I show everyone the insignia I stole. Hey, look what I got.
Cool.
Okay.
What are you going to do it? What are you going to do it for? I was going to say. What are you going to use it for?
I thought it might be useful if we have to pretend to be Inquisitors or something.
Yeah, okay.
I hope we don't have to. Well, if you can get another couple of those, that's me.
Can if I see another couple of Inquisitors, I would imagine.
Just thinking that could actually be very helpful. We have a lot of interesting escapades coming up.
I love an escapade.
We have a lot of them.
I like those as well. I do enjoy a hijink.
We have a list of escapades.
Hijinks, escapades, daring do, perhaps?
I wonder how far from your aunt's house the slums are.
I would assume
Or the pleasure district.
far.
The Pleasure District probably not so far.
Why do you want to go to the slums?
What are you doing?
Because it's very difficult to place sprays inciting rebellion if I am not in the location where they're relevant.
Okay. Do you have the things you need to do that?
Well, I was working on them for the past week, and I think I have some ideas. So I'll go into a detailed explanation of how I'm planning to shoot ink out of a little spray in my wrist to make it form patterns if I use a template.
It's like the makeup gun that Homer invented in that episode of The Simpsons.
I'm planning to
Shotgun,
use stencils.
bucket.
I was going to use stencils, but sure.
Okay.
I've got to change the design I've put on Discord.
No, we can use that design. It's fine.
As
I'll
the
have to make a
carriage
stencil version of it.
makes its way through Paras, you can see out of the cracks in the curtains and out into the street, the buildings shift and change from hotels, restaurants, to shops, the market. And there are many different market squares. There is no centralized place, and the smells change from food, the baked goods to fish. You can smell fragrances. You look out and see lines and lines of clothes kept under brightly coloured tarps. Many different people and races, many different languages, all hawking their wares. Until eventually you get into a much quieter district. Much more open, the streets wider, the pavements wider still. The gardens huge and beautifully maintained. And you see then houses that could be manors, offices, some with warehouses attached. Until eventually you come to a stop. Just outside a huge, beautiful marble home, a marble mansion, with a garden in front of it. There are, in the street and in the garden, doing their work, many, many humans. None of which are wearing a cuff.
Good.
Or
They're pretty
collar.
much worthless.
And all appear to be quite well dressed.
Your aunt is remarkably kind to her human slaves.
They're not going into the manor. Many of them are just walking past.
Oh.
And they are smiling and chatting as they walk. Not like you're used to in other towns or cities, with their heads hung in dejected depression.
Was this the
Would
case?
I know anything about this?
The slight differences in culture, no.
Okay.
This is not particular to your aunt.
That's
What
fine.
did I see?
No, I know. I mean, like, just as general knowledge about the Empire.
What did I see of humanity as we travelled from the train station to here?
Very much the same. A lot
All
of the
well
humans,
dressed.
there were quite a lot of humans. They're not fantastically dressed, but they were not dressed in rags. And they appeared to be walking with their heads held high, venturing into and out of shops, as
Are
normal.
there any humans with armour or weapons?
Small
Apart
weapons.
from Apolliteus.
Small
Yes.
weapons. A short sword here and there. Daggers. Quarterstaff. That is obviously a quarterstaff and not a walking stick.
Armour?
Leather. Studded at the most.
Still can't get away with walking around as myself. Shame.
But as you then are kicked out of the carriage, someone remove 2 silver, please. From
Do
there.
it.
No, that's me.
Oh God, you're having another battle of wills. I'll fucking pay. No, I'll fucking pay. You put your money back in the purse.
It's like that's when we go out to dinner.
I just get out of the truck. I get out of the cab and immediately stretch my wings right out. I just give them a good old stretch because they have been confined and needed to stay tight to me for a while.
There is a human woman that you notice after you've stretched your wings. And she looks terrified.
Yeah.
She looks utterly terrified. However, the pink-skinned, short-horned tiefling man that she is walking arm in arm with looks like he is in love. And he's not.
Wait a minute.
He's one of the first men you've ever seen who does not look you up and down. He is just staring at your horns and your wings, and he is infatuated.
Reg, a tiefling with a human.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
I'm going to take my helmet off, or take it down into the rest of the armor, and walk as a human in armor. I'm interested.
Okay.
Just in general. But
it is at that point that we're going to take a break, because it is coming up on 5 to 9. Yes, so we're going to take a break. So we're around about the halfway point here, and I think everyone needs a drink and to go to the toilet. So
someone definitely does.
Please, while we are on break, check out as standard Loki Battle Mats and Blink Dog Dice are fantastic sponsors. And if you can, please click on the link that will.
That's not right.
What?
Try again. No, I've put it in
Battle
wrong.
Map.
No, it's not. Hang on.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, AD.
All right. Thanks, Eddie.
Please
Thank you,
also
Batman.
then go check out more under the link for the upcoming charity gaming stream. I guarantee you, stick it in your diary. I guarantee you it is going to be very, very entertaining. Taking part in one was watching the last big charity stream AD did was awesome. How he survived that, I have no idea, but I can only imagine that this one is going to be awesome because Short Rest Tavern are a fantastic group of role players, and if you haven't caught them yet, please pop over to their Twitch and check out some of their Candlekeep Mysteries playthroughs, because they're wonderful. But yeah, we're going to go on break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back to episode 66 of the Chronicles of Nidum.
Penis.
Where we left off, you had just
Big
arrived
Willy.
at what appears to be, or at least according to the gnome, the estate of your aunt in Paras, current head of the Guild of the Fragrant Peaks. And the gnome has deposited you on the pavement outside. Orianna has spread her wings, terrified a human
Spread
woman,
these
and
broken wings
enraptured
to fly again.
a young tiefling male.
I just turn and help Dice get out of the carriage.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will have my helmet off when I get out, because I've seen all the humans walking around and I think I can get away with it.
As
Maybe,
you
hopefully.
step out of the carriage, then you see that the human woman is pulling, if not quite that forcefully, like tugging at the arm of her tiefling companion to try and make him kind of walk quicker as his feet continue on the path along the road, but his eyes is kind of
It's that meme. It's the meme with the
Yeah.
guy looking at the girl in the dress.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Guys, it's that meme. I know that meme.
I too know that meme.
Hey.
Well done, Mel.
Thanks, guys.
But yes, he is eventually dragged off down the street. You are getting quite a few worried glances.
Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a monster race.
Well, only a bit.
She's more monstrous than any tieflings any of these people have seen in a very long time.
More monstrous and more beautiful.
Anyway, Quill, this right? Are we here?
I look up and does it appear to be my family's home?
You've never been here. However,
Crest? Anything that I would recognise?
as you look around on the gates, there is a family crest, familiar to you. You've seen it many, many times in your own estate.
I point at the crest, and I point at the lapel pin that I wear that has the crest on it.
Gonna take that as a yes.
I think this is the right place, yes.
Hmm. It's
Well done.
fancy as hell.
Yes. Yes, it's nice. It's not as big as the country house, but city real estate. You understand? And I'll go up to the door and knock.
To the rest of you, this is one of the most stunning places you've ever seen. It appears that it is almost entirely made of marble. The gardens themselves, while well maintained, look to have been left to grow wild, but in an artistic fashion. There are copses of trees inside the large gardens of this house that remind you, as you look in them, you almost expect to see the children of Nidum running between the trees playing. It's a very, very beautiful, palatial estate.
As we're following Quill, can I turn to Ori and go, Ori, can I get a prestidigitation? I feel dirty.
Yeah, all right.
I just don't feel clean enough to be here.
Do you clean dice up a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. You are now shiny.
I realise there's still like blood on one boot, you know? I just...
You are as shiny as the dull grey metal your armour is made from can be.
Thank you.
It's a matte look.
Yeah, it is a very matte metal you've made your armour out of. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's very Apple.
But as you make your way then through the gates, which open at a touch, they're not locked. Most of the gardeners then, all human, kind of stop what they're doing and watch as you pass. One of the closest gardeners, kind of startled, doesn't drop, but gently places their tools kind of to one side, and a man approaching old age kind of steps onto the path in front of you to greet you. Bonjour. Salut.
And a good day to you as well.
Oh, you're from Albion. Indeed
I am.
Begging your pardon, sir, but I'm not brilliant with the local tongue.
It's a pleasure to converse with someone in my native language.
Pleasure is all mine, sir, of course. Might I ask who you're looking for and your business here, so that I may relay it to the master of the house, who's in?
Yes, of course. I'm looking for the lady of the house, and it's something of a family visit, I suppose.
Of course, sir, there is somewhat of a noble bearing about yourself. I should have known instantly that you were related to the lady of the house. She's not in at the moment. She's away on business, but one of her sons is home. If you would just wait by the door, I will announce you. Who can I say is calling, sorry?
Eleanor Settlequill.
Ah, of course, sir. Please. And he
Thank you very much.
gestures to what appears to be like a seating area that's just off from the marble stairs leading up to the front door. Like kind of 2 marble benches that look quite comfortable. And gestures off to them as he rushes up the stairs and allows himself entry. Closes the door behind him. The humans around you
I'll take a seat.
kind of get back to their work, but the work seems kind of half-hearted as their attention seems to be diverted between the garden and yourselves.
I take out a comb and start grooming my whiskers.
Okay.
Wait.
It's a couple of minutes then, but eventually the doors do open again. You see the human gentleman come out, gesture towards you, to a figure in the doorway, and then immediately kind of nod, smile, and rush back to his tools and take them up once more and continue on with his work.
Thank you very much for your assistance.
Stepping out of the door is a slightly taller than Quill, much thinner than Quill, Tabaxi.
How tall is he? Because Quill's 6'4".
He's very, very spindly.
I see.
And
Do I recognise this gentleman?
You have not seen him in a very long time. However, this does appear to be one of your youngest cousins, Busy Claw. And as he walks down, you see that he has a sheaf of parchments under one arm, as if he's just been called away from work. He has a quill, in fact, tucked behind his ear, but he's walking with purpose as he struts down the stairs, wearing quite regal, but very, very efficient clothing, like a suit.
By Dionysus's aching head. Busy Claw, is that you?
Hello, Quill. How are you?
All the better for seeing you. When did you get so tall? This is ludicrous.
I had a growth spurt a couple of years ago, perhaps.
Evidently.
Maybe. I mean, what? We haven't been to visit our cousins in Albion in quite a while.
It's been many years.
Perhaps a
You
decade.
were, I remember you as a snotty little kid. It's spectacular to see you so well presented now, and God, you're tall.
Orianna has stood there silently, like, I used to be the tall one.
Oh, I'm being impolite. Allow me to introduce you to my traveling companions, and I assume that we discussed what I was introducing them as before we got here.
I'm standing there as a human, like with my helmet off. So
yeah, I'm
Dice,
Orianna.
I assume.
So I introduced them as Orianna, Dice, and Ace.
You travel with an eclectic entourage.
Not an entourage. These are friends.
Of course. Please, let us go somewhere more private, and you can fill me in on the purpose of your visit, which was not announced, or perhaps we missed the letter. When
last I corresponded with Auntie, she gave me to understand that I had a standing invitation. Am I inconveniencing you, Busy Claw? I thought we were. I thought we were family.
Not at all. There are things I can put off. Please. And he leads you back up the stairs into the house.
And I mutter to Orianna, Busy Claw seems kind of a grump.
I don't know how I would feel if someone, a family member I hadn't seen in 10 years and had zero contact with, suddenly turned up on my doorstep.
Honestly, I'd probably be fine with it. Actually, seeing any of my family would be kind of cool and helpful.
As you walk into the house, then, the lobby as it is huge. There is a massive central grand staircase with 2 corridors on either side of it leading off on the ground floor. The top floor above, leading off to the east or the west wing, hangs with many different tapestries, many different banners from all of the, and as Quill and Busyclaw point them out, they are all of the different countries and all of the different locales that Quill's family have offices or trade agreements with. And you can see that there are many. Some flags you've never seen before, some you can, like the both of you, or all of you know where certain of these flags are from. Others you've never seen before in your life. As you get to the left of the grand staircase, though, there are 2 large doors. You look to Busyclaw, looks to be leading you towards an office. You see a blur of ginger hair and white cloth, and Busyclaw dodges out of the way before he is bowled out of the way, and Quill suddenly has another person on them.
Oh,
Hugging them in a bear hug as tight as their tiny little body can. And as you look down, Quill, you look down and you see, slightly older now, but still a child, your 14-year-old cousin, the little girl that you have not seen since they were an actual, proper toddler.
Good Lord. Everyone around here has been shooting up like stalks of wheat. What's going... How did you get so... You're like a person now.
And she looks at you, and there's a beaming smile on her face, and you look into the eyes of your little cousin, Quickfang. I am older. I am taller than I was a baby. I came up to your knee the last time we met.
It's true, you are taller than when you were a baby, and considerably so. And how are you? How is your schooling progressing?
Well, it happens. I am there for it sometimes. I have asked Mother to allow me to visit your estate many, many times. She has always said no. Apparently, Albion is too wild and dangerous for us to go to. But please tell me, how is your mother and father? How are the horses? How is the house?
Everything is wonderful. Mother is busy as always, as I'm sure you remember. She always has her irons in many fires, and father is quite content with whatever he's doing. The horses are slightly older now, but we have some new ones, some yearlings, and they miss you very much, I believe.
Willing yourself not to say most of the ones you met are dead.
Yeah.
Horses can live well over 10 years.
But if they were
It's been over 10 years.
12 when she met them.
Yep.
So yes, busy claw, quick. It is not the time. We have much to discuss, our cousin and I. Please, you are leaving your lessons again. You know what Mother says. There will be time afterwards, I'm sure. Elenil, you are staying for
a little while. I imagine we'll be here for a few days.
Good. Then I'm sure there is time for family and catching up. Please, Quick.
As if Quicklaw sort of disengages, I'm going to slip a small bag of ball bearings into her pocket.
Okay.
Just as a little gift.
No problem.
It's pretty cute.
She growls, almost growls, grimacing at her big brother. But as soon as she feels the added weight of the ball bearings in her pocket, smiles, and there is confusion on Busy Claw's face as her attitude changes very quickly as she kind of skips off, looking back at you, Quill, and winking. Please, come, sit. I will have drinks brought.
Wonderful, yes. We're quite parched.
My older brothers are not here. My mother, your aunt, is away on business. She has returned to our ancestral home in Italia. She is due back, though, before the end of the festivities.
How is Auntie Knife?
She is still going.
Yes. There's not much on this planet that can stop her.
No, there isn't. Our brothers are all away on contracts, but I hear business is good. So please,
And
everyone sit.
You seem very on top of things now. Sorry, it takes a little adjusting. You understand
Not having to look up at me.
that.
My brothers think so too.
That and also, as I remember last time I saw you, your main interest was model trains, and now you seem to be, master of the house.
I still take a great interest in trains. I think that airships are far too expensive. Especially
I came here on a train, in fact.
Then you can see it is a fine way of getting goods from one point A to point B. And he points over in the corner, and instead of a toy train, there is a perfect miniature replica of the train that you have just got off on a table.
Certainly a very pleasant and relaxing way to travel, although I believe that the train that we were on had a little trouble getting its goods from place to place.
The one I'm looking at having designed will be faster. And as you notice the train even more on each carriage, they seem less like passenger carriages and more like storage carriages all along the length of the train, and they all have the family crest stamped on the side of each carriage.
You have big plans, Busy Claw.
I am the more business-minded brother. Mother realized this very early on and has put me more and more in charge. I have yet to convince her of this business venture that it would be a good idea, but I'm getting there.
I have absolute faith in you.
So,
Just for the record, by the way, Dice has not sat down. She's standing awkwardly behind the chair, like, because no one tells her to sit down, so she's just standing there.
As I notice that, I'm going to say, Dice, have a seat, and Ace, and Orianna, please.
Are you sure?
Yes, sit.
Okay. I sit down, still looking really awkward and uncomfortable.
I assume this familiarity is because you are with family and you are not so
I'm
wild and Albionish to do this in public, yes?
of course.
Good.
Do this in public.
We treat our staff here much better than most in Paras, but still behind closed doors. There is an understanding once they go outside.
Yes, I understand.
We have precautions in place.
You have to understand that Dice travels with Dice and Ace travel with Orianna. They aren't my staff.
They aren't mine. They're my friends.
They give
Very-
like a slightly strange smile.
Orianna comes from a very liberal part of Albion. You understand?
Yes, I can see that. So, get to it. Why are you here?
Oh well. You remember my father, Button?
Shiny, as always. Yes, I remember him.
Yes, easily distracted, buffoonish.
And your mother, still quick as ever.
Indeed she is, and she felt that it was time I was out from under the influence of Shiny Button, so aptly named. She felt that were I to remain in the estate, that I would grow to be as soft and how to put it politely. Well, let's leave it at soft, as father is, and that I should get out, see the world, and learn to fend for myself somewhat.
How much of the world would you like to see? Where can I send you?
I intend to stay in Paras for the duration of the festival, and then I will travel on under my own steam, I believe.
And do you have lodgings?
I was hoping to stay with family. That was the nature of Auntie's communication to me, was that I was always welcome.
Of course. Currently, though, we are having both wings renovated. Perhaps we do own a substantial... Well, we have a substantial interest in many hotels in the Pleasure District. We can certainly free you up a room there. No charge, of course, for family.
What do I think of this? Does he seem like he's just trying to get rid of me?
Roll me an
I
insight
think your
check.
cousin's a cock.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration that I have. I'm glad I did because I rolled an 18, but the other one was a 2.
Okay. There is something up. From what...
Claude, if I didn't know better, I'd feel like you weren't excited to see me.
I apologize for any rudeness on my part. I have been quite busy of late, as you can imagine, with all of the business effectively now being in my hands, as Mother goes off on one of her jaunts, which she is more prone to, the older she gets.
Busy by name, busy by nature, eh?
Yes. I have slightly more responsibility than obviously the last time you saw me.
Of course.
Many fingers in many pies, as it were. But please, it would be my pleasure to put you up in the penthouse of our finest establishment, which is no mean feat with the festivities going on at the moment, but I could free it up for you.
Of course, I'm wonderfully grateful to you. Sorry for questioning you. Your hospitality is appreciated, as I'm sure it always will be.
From what you remember of your cousin from
Mhm.
when he was a child, he did have a great interest in model trains, was quiet, studious. However, in play, was quick to anger, was quite standoffish,
A bit sensitive, perhaps.
bit sensitive, didn't get on well with his older, more boisterous brothers. But he seems to have grown into himself. But he is trying quite hard to get rid.
Yeah, I get that. Well, obviously you're very busy, and we wouldn't want to keep you from your paperwork, I presume. If you could direct us to carriage.
No. You will not pay for a carriage. I will bring one of the family carriages around and have you transported properly.
Oh, thank you very much.
I don't have any free paper. If I send...
I have some.
I was going to say if I send Quickfang with you,
Oh yes, that would be wonderful. I'm sure
will-
she'll make a fine escort.
they will at least take her word that the room is yours. Would a week suffice for now?
I must confess, I'm not. My calendar is not calibrated. I've been traveling for quite some time. How long until the festivities end?
At this, you can see him kind of visibly almost kind of choke, but he pushes it down. Until the festivities end? Is it a month?
That was yes. I think I looked at Orianna. I think we were planning to enjoy the festival, were we not?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Certainly a month. A month is fine.
Perhaps in that time, the one or other of the wings will have the renovations completed, and we can come and stay and cost less. From the family purse.
I'll give the builders a kick up the backside.
I'm sure that whenever you say jump, they ask how high.
But yes, please, I will, of course, attend to you at the hotel when I am less busy.
I eagerly await your company.
With managing our family fortune.
So,
Well, a good day to you then.
And he gestures towards the door, rings a bell. A young human boy walks in. Please bring the carriage around. Get Quick Fang. They are to be taken. And he kind of like sheafs a lot of papers to one side. Take them to the horizon. And the boy kind of nods and rushes off. Au revoir.
And to you.
bye.
I'm going to do the most awkward curtsy in armour you've ever seen in your life. And go,
Crunch, crunch, crunch,
thank
crunch.
you. Thank you. And then I'm going to walk away. Like, ah.
Okay.
Hey, Quill, when is your aunt back in the city?
I mean,
He did say towards the end of the festivities.
yes. Towards the end of the festivities, I believe he said. Did anyone else feel an odd tension in that room?
I think your cousin's a twat. He seemed
What's the most welcoming atmosphere?
It seemed like he wasn't impressed with you. I don't know
Didn't
why.
he? Yes. I can't imagine why.
Are your family the head of the family, or is this the head of the family and you're like a branch family?
My aunt is the head of the family. Knife held aloft, a formidable woman, the most formidable I've ever met.
But usually welcoming.
Yes, a little
And
more
your
family
mother's her sister.
oriented than no. My father is her brother, not the sharpest knife in that particular litter. I'm sorry to say, but he married well.
So they named one of the children Knife Held Aloft and the other one Shiny Button.
Yes, it's we all receive elven names first in our clan. Part of blending in the empire, but it means that we can wait a little while for our nature to become more clear before we're given our names, and they're very suggestive of the difference between my aunt and my father.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, is your cousin up to something?
I do rather suspect so, yes. I don't think that there's renovations happening in either wing.
Oh, that wasn't quite what I meant. I meant something that is not so beneficial for your family. I don't know. I got a weird vibe.
Something about trains.
But your aunt doesn't want that.
I don't know. Let's ask Quickfang. Perhaps when we're out of the grounds.
Yeah,
As
good
you
idea.
say that and get to the front door, you hear the patter of feet running down the stairs, and now dressed in a travelling cloak, you see your cousin, Quickfang. I'm taking you to a
Quickfang.
hotel.
So I hear, the horizon.
It's beautiful. They like me. It's fine.
I'm certain they do.
And she rushes out, and you can see out on the street, down the path, past the garden, there is then the family carriage has been drawn around.
Excellent.
You must tell me everything. Where have you been? What have you seen? What have you done?
Well, we were on a train for several weeks.
Who are you? You have wings.
This is my friend Orianna, and
Hi.
these are her friends, Dice and Ace.
I like your
Hi.
armor.
Which one?
Talking to you, Dice.
Oh, thanks.
Dice made it themselves.
It does cool things, and I make the hand crackle with lightning.
Her eyes almost pop out of her head as you're walking down
love
the
her.
path. You can do magic.
Oh, it's not magic. It's engineering.
Oh,
You have to keep it to yourself, though, Quicklaw. It's a secret.
my teacher says engineering is magic, just a different name.
Maybe that's true.
My teacher said
More
friendship was
sensitive.
magic, but I
Was
think
your teacher a
perhaps-
pony?
What?
Centaur.
Humans don't do magic, don't be silly. But sometimes we can encounter people who are good at science.
That's a lie.
What?
Is it?
What's that, Quicklaw?
That humans can't do magic.
Where have you been hearing such things?
The stable boy can do magic.
What sort
The
of
stable
magic?
boy?
Hmm.
What's his name?
John.
John the stable boy
Or-
can do
or-
magic.
Or
What,
Jean.
what kind of magic can Jean do?
He can change his face.
Hmm.
Does your brother know about this?
No.
Hmm.
I don't tell
Your
my brother
brother-
anything.
Your brother seems very severe. Has he been this way long?
He was much more fun when I was little, but he's not got much time for me now, so I don't have much time for him. So, if I learn secrets, he doesn't.
That's a very good policy.
Clever girl.
And
I like you, kid.
I do have another question. Are there renovations happening in the house at the moment?
Renovations.
Yes, in either of the wings.
Well, our rooms are in the rear of the house, and since Mother's gone, I'm not allowed in the east or the west wing anymore. So obviously I tried, because I was told I wasn't allowed.
Of course.
But the lock is too difficult.
Hmm.
I see. Have you been learning to get past locks?
Yes,
How's it coming?
I can do normal ones, but these appear to be magic. So, and John the stable boy doesn't know how to get past them.
How did you find out that John the stable boy could do magic?
He wanted to impress me.
And how old is John
this-
the stable boy?
He's 14.
And how old are you?
14.
Oh, I see.
He earned himself a kiss on the cheek.
That is a good policy.
Scandalous.
So-
A proper fragrant peaks. Scion kissing a stable boy. I can't believe I'm hearing this.
The
They're
stories
traveling around with humans.
The stories I hear about your mother.
My mother lived a very interesting life, and
How-
I don't
how
know
is
where you
Auntie?
could possibly be hearing those stories from.
My older brothers.
A little more fun than Claw.
When they're in their cups.
I understand.
How to fit in a cup.
A shame
Well,
that they weren't
Dice.
here to greet us. It's been a long time since I've seen any of them.
Busy Claude does tend to send them away often.
Hmm.
Peculiar. Hey, Quickfang, do you want a present?
Yes, Always. You get in the carriage, by the way.
Oh, I thought we'd been in the carriage.
Yeah, no, okay, you're in the carriage traveling.
Yeah. And I give her one of my daggers.
It's beautiful, thank you.
You're very welcome.
It'll go with my others. Well, I don't have any other daggers. I just have... there may be some knives missing from the kitchen.
Well,
Protection is a smart policy.
maybe you can put them back, because I'm sure Cook misses them. But you have...
No. Brother bought more.
Of course.
Of course he did.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When your aunt and your older brothers are away, are the wings normally closed off?
No, only this time.
But have you seen any tradesmen going in or out?
Some really bookish-looking elves.
Not renovators, it seems.
No,
They don't stay.
that's sort of my concern.
They are clean when they come and dirty when they leave, though, so perhaps they are renovating something.
They're dirty when they leave.
Yes, like soot, or...
Do they go to the east or the west side, or both?
both.
Lots to think about.
It's interesting.
So, tell us about this hotel.
And she starts ranting and raving about how wonderful this hotel is and how nice the staff are. It's almost entirely staffed by humans. There are some, in her mind, overpaid chefs who are halflings and Durgar. But for the most part, there is an almost entirely human staff. You're trying to hold waffle in your hand.
His eyes were glowing.
But as she rants and raves about how wonderful the hotel is, the streets do begin to get much busier outside, and eventually the carriage does stop, and you are pulled into kind of like a tunnel at the back of a hotel where it's much quieter.
Just as we're, I do say to, is it Quick Fang?
Mm-hmm.
You should feel free to visit as well while we're here.
Yes, please.
Brother does have me in lessons almost every day, but when I can get away, I will.
I'm sure you can get away a lot more than he would like.
Yes, but normally only into the grounds. Coming this far, I can try.
That, well, I wouldn't want you to risk getting hurt, though.
Hurt? No. You wouldn't hurt me.
No, not your, no, traveling, I mean.
Well, the streets can be dangerous alone. You're right, what am I thinking? You've got a dagger now.
Exactly. But yes. And she hops out of the carriage. And you can see her immediately kind of hug the human who was waiting outside the door. He is very stiff and kind of, this always happens. Why does she never listen? And then kind of very gently pushes her off as the rest of you get out of the carriage. This is Quill. He's my family. He is to be given at the penthouse. No questions asked for as long as the festivities are ongoing. That is my brother's word, and I am here as proof. Good enough? And the human man just kind of takes all that in very quickly and smiles at you all.
I wave.
Of course, Madame Quickfang. Are you staying for dinner? For lunch? We could put something on for you. Something special. Have you sent up to our room? No, brother wants me back. But I will return. I want pastries. Please. Quill.
Yes.
And she hugs you.
And I hug back.
I will come back. There are things I want to ask you about the world.
And I look forward to those chats. Join us for dinner some evening.
I will, hopefully. Thank you.
After she hugs me, I do check my pockets.
There's nothing missing. But she does see you checking your pockets, and she's like, couldn't find anything apart from that bag. It's a bit too big.
Yeah, a little conspicuous, perhaps.
Yeah, what's in the bag? Seems empty.
It's empty.
Did you just did I say everything?
I said it very quietly more to Quill than I did to Quickfang.
Okay. She doesn't believe you, but kind of smiles. It was nice meeting you all. I love your wings.
Thank you.
I love your enthusiasm.
Life is fun. And she gets back on the carriage and it pulls out. The human who is waiting for you just kind of, he doesn't sigh, but you can see him visibly kind of deflate, as if he's had prior experience with Quickfang and she might be a lot to deal with, and he's very happy she's not sticking around this time.
She's energetic, isn't she?
I could not possibly comment, sir.
You don't have to stand on ceremony around me.
There's a lot of enthusiasm.
Oui, your cousin is very enthusiastic. But please, I am Jean-Claude. It is my pleasure to host you at the Horizon.
A pleasure to meet you, Jean-Claude.
Please, if I could show you to our elevation platforms. Please.
Lead on.
Do you have luggage?
Only
That's
what
what
we
we
wear
have
on
on
our
us.
backs.
He's looking at all of your packs, and you can see this is a man who expects people to have many, many suitcases when they arrive at his hotel.
Particularly if they're staying in the penthouse.
Exactly. And it's like, will your luggage be joining you afterwards? Or
We travel light.
we, please follow. And he leads you off through a quite quiet corridor, because you're at the back of the hotel now. But as soon as you walk out into the lobby, it appears the lobby itself is 15 stories tall. The ceiling is very high above you. And you can see balconies.
Nice.
Many
Nice.
balconies. And it's the lobby is maybe 100 foot wide as well. You can see many balconies showing the rooms on all of the floors. And he goes, the balconies on this side are for a view out of the front window. And he gestures up, and on the front of the hotel, where you can see just above the doors, the lower foundations seem to be entirely made of like marble and stone, and then above that is just glass for 15 stories. So you can see out these balconies, a beautiful view of Paris. You can see right the way up to the palace here, down the main thoroughfare. In the rear, you can see the warehouse district, the pleasure district. You can even see the Colosseum off to your right. You have the penthouse. You have a view of all around the hotel. But please, the elevation platforms, I will show you to your room.
Please do.
In the center of the lobby, built against the back wall where the rooms would appear, but in the center of that wall, there appears to be a golden ring made of solid gold, just fitted into the marble floor. And as he approaches them, if you are to step in, you state your destination, which is penthouse, and try not to move too much. You will be elevated to the penthouse.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your assistance.
These are the keys. And he hands you a beautifully wrought golden key. Would you like refreshment? Anything sent
yes,
to your rooms?
Yes, please. If you could send some drinks up. Wine, everyone Wine?
Some
Yeah.
tea.
Actually, wine sounds great.
Wine and tea, please.
Of course.
And
Alcohol.
also just some water, please.
Of course, there is should be ice cold water ready in the room. Once you have with the water jug, once you have drained it, please place it back onto the silver platter. Do not touch the silver platter; it is not good for the skin. But the jug will refill, and it will be ice cold once more.
Oh.
But I will
Wonderful.
have wine and hot drinks sent up to your room.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.
There are what you call buttons in almost every room in the penthouse suite. If you ring them, you will be able to send a message to me or one of my staff, and we will be able to reply to that message. So anything you could ask for, please do not hesitate. You can use them as many times as you like. However, the message that you send to us can be no longer than 25 words.
Thank you.
I'll bear that in mind.
Is there anything else?
No, you've been wonderful. Thank you.
Then please step onto the ring and enjoy your stay.
Will do. Thank you very much, Jean-Claude. And then I'll step onto the platform.
Thank you.
As you step in to the golden ring, then, who says penthouse?
Penthouse!
Penthouse.
Orianna just says penthouse.
Penthouse!
I want to work out how
I
it
am without
works.
my wings.
I knew you were going to say that.
There is a glow from the golden ring in the floor, and you can see a ripple in the air around you. But in a moment, you are gently floating up, up, up.
Okay, and how is that done?
Roll an Arcana check.
Thanks.
But this is what it feels like. It's great.
Yeah, that's going to be a 26.
26. It would appear that, very simply, there is a levitation spell in the ring, and the command word is whatever floor you wish the spell to stop at. And you can see there is a platform then on each floor with part of a gold ring kind of cut into the platform as a circle, and you can imagine that if you'd said that floor, you would have stopped and been out of the levitation spell as soon as you passed the gold ring. But eventually it does get to the penthouse, and there are two large, dark oak doors in front of you. You step off onto the platform and open the doors.
Mm-hmm.
It is as beautiful and as open and large as the lobby of Quill's aunt's house was. It is not as decorated with flags and banners, but everything is incredibly well appointed, beautifully wrought, fantastically carved, and there are doors ringing the place. You could easily fit a well-off family, a large well-off family in here. You expect there are at least 3 bathrooms with the doors open that you can see, so you can immediately see where they are, and another 6 rooms for you to sleep in, with 3 living rooms and a dining room in open plan in the middle of this suite.
I go on
Well,
back
this is
and
a
take the
little-
bed.
This is a little more spacious than a train carriage, isn't it?
Yes.
I run.
don't-
I find a bed. I face down, flop on it, and my wings spread out as well, just taking up the entire bed.
Your wings only just reach over the sides of the bed.
Oh my god, yes.
It is like an Empress plus size bed.
Nice.
Guys, I think you and Orianna won't actually have to share if you don't want to.
Ari likes space.
You
sometimes,
can.
that's cool.
Dice, I love you, but being able to spread my wings out to sleep.
Yeah. I'm going to go perch really awkwardly on the windowsill and like look out over the city because I don't know how to act here.
Which way?
Towards the palace, please.
Towards the palace. Okay. You perch on the windowsill then and look out the window. And you are possibly maybe a floor or two above most of the surrounding buildings. But he spoke the truth. And Jean-Claude, as he said, you look out and off in the distance, maybe 5 blocks away, you see huge pure crystal structures start to rise out of the ground. And they culminate in this huge, beautiful spire. Or it would be beautiful if it wasn't entirely made of the same sickly green crystal that you know something about the true nature of.
Mm.
But you can see people then in the streets starting to look around about the size of ants as they pass to and from the palace and all of the other crystalline structures around it. Above you, you can see, not touching down at the palace, but patrolling around it, airships. Again, looking, for all intents and purposes, like seagoing vessels. But some of them are ringed with fire. Some of them seem to be ringed with lightning. Some of them seem to have sails, but all of the sails on them are pointed up instead of down. And seem to be full of wind.
I'm going to need to be working out how those function, but not right now.
Okay.
I'm going to go for a walk.
It seems reasonable.
You don't want to rest a little while?
I really want to stretch my legs.
Very well. Do you need any company?
If you want to join me, I'm just going to walk around and be myself for once.
Okay, I think I'm going to have a lie down, actually.
Okay. And I'll head to the door. If anyone wants to follow me, they can.
Dice?
No, Dice is going to stay.
Okay.
I'll go on my own.
Ace doesn't look happy with that and elects to accompany you. But still not being comfortable as a human, as Dice was, Ace is going to stay as a half-orc.
Come on, Ghetto.
You do.
I get back into the ring and I look down and go,
You do, as you
Ground
realise, you get to the platform. And whereas on the ground floor you could have stepped into the golden ring, now at the edge of the platform there is just a drop.
I mean, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just step off the edge.
As you step off the edge, though there is nothing beneath your feet, it feels like you're walking on solid ground.
Oh, that's intimidating.
Ace, seeing your wings not flared or flying, does the same, and you're both just standing there.
Ground floor?
And you both begin to, very gently, descend to the ground floor.
With nothing underneath you. That is terrifying.
I fly.
As you are making your way down, you do see at the reception there are many humans running around, taking in new bookings. But as Jean-Claude kind of spies someone coming down the elevator, just steps out from behind the reception and comes to the golden ring with his hands clasped behind his back. And as you touch down, Madames, is there anything I can help you with?
No, I'm just going to go for a walk around the Plunge district, probably.
You are not the local?
No.
Then perhaps a map?
Oh, please, that would be wonderful.
Oui. And he rushes off. It seems, as you look around, it seems that this hotel is very well run. They are expected to cater for their guests in ways that even their guests may not think to ask. But he does, and he just puts his head behind the back of the desk, pulls out a map, and hands it to you. We have had many updated on new maps printed for the festivities, because we have obviously a lot of people traveling from further away in the Empire who have never been here before. So, is there anywhere in particular you would like to see?
No, I think for today we'll just wander.
Of course. There are, as I have said, quite a few new people coming into Paris, and there have been stories that the streets are not as safe as they once were. It would be remiss of me to not at least offer you an escort. We have some guards on staff.
I look at like the half orc next to me and I look back, we'll be fine and I can look after myself.
Of course. If you change your mind on any of your ventures out into the city, please do not hesitate to ask. They are getting bored waiting for someone to need them.
I'm sure they are. But thank you.
Of course. And he goes back to the reception.
I'll head to the door.
Okay. And you step out into the bustling streets of Paris. Where are you looking to go? Or are you just going for a wander?
I'm going to go to the river and wander around down near the river.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My Sirenscape's just started working.
It is a distance. And as you walk, there is a definite change in architecture. Like, as you're looking at the map every once in a while, going between districts, you can tell exactly when, for example, the residential, the hotels and the restaurants shift and change into another one. The brick is different. The architectural style is different. Also, the quality of people on the street is different. And it takes you maybe an hour of walking through unfamiliar streets, even with the aid of the map. But eventually, you get to the dockland. It is a bustling, busy throughway. The river itself is wide, but you feel at some points the boats are so congested that if you stepped on one, you could cross the river just by hopping from boat to boat instead of using the many bridges you can see off in the distance to the left and the right. The people there are rougher. There are many, many more bow-legged sailors who seem either drunk or not used to walking on solid ground.
Feel a bit more comfortable walking around this area.
And every eye is on you.
Yeah, that's the norm. I am keeping an eye out for the broken sun scimitar.
Okay.
Oh, that's in the southern quarter, not in. Never mind.
No, the southern quarter is near is near the southern quarter is near the docks.
Right. Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye out for it if I spot it.
Okay. Roll me a investigation check, please. Or a perception check, whichever one you prefer.
Investigation. 19.
19. Okay. As you wander along then, you notice two things at almost exactly the same time. The broken sun scimitar. It is set a little way back from the dock, but it does seem to be one of the busiest taverns. Or you look at it and it looks not so much like a tavern, but perhaps what once was 3 houses detached from each other that have now haphazardly been joined on with their fronts opened up, and you can see strange bits of building, extra rooms added to roofs, and then someone added a different room, but it seems like the architect, if they called one, was completely different. Or drunk, or on drugs. But the tavern is substantial, and the seating area outside it and inside is currently bustling, full of people, many different races. The second thing you notice is in the water, moored to the side of the dock, almost directly outside the broken sun scimitar, is a very familiar boat. The Ligel.
I'm gonna head over to the boat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you head over to the boat. There is there, currently stowing ropes and pulling in the rigging, a large familiar bugbear.
I can't remember his name. What was his name?
I don't have it.
Oh, crap.
No idea.
Can't remember
Do
his
you
name.
remember his name?
I can't
Does
remember his
anyone
name
remember his
either.
name? Oh, I'm gonna start calling him Chewy.
I can't remember. It's something like Raw. I can't remember.
Bear.
Bear. It
It's
was Bear.
Bear. I'll just shout out. Well, I'll just go, hello, Bear.
He starts, turns around, just growls at you in bugbear.
Oh, if you were coming to Parash, you could have brought us.
Which you take to mean it wasn't planned.
What was the name of the guy with him? The solo equivalent?
Handsome.
Handsome. And he was human, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I said, where's that human of yours?
And he nods towards the broken sun scimitar.
Do you want a drink?
Pulls a wineskin from his belt, swigs at it.
I'll see you later. And I'll head
Nods.
inside. I'll head inside.
And goes back to fixing up the ship.
I head inside looking to see if I can spot Handsome and see what he's doing.
As you walk in then, the reason that it is so boisterous and loud inside is because it appears that the crew of the Ligel has taken over a substantial section of the tavern and currently are singing sea shanties quite well. It's a very lively atmosphere. They don't need a bard. But Handsome is sitting at the bar watching his crew and just swaying his tankard back and forth in time with the music.
I want to sneak up behind him and sort of lean on his back and then just go, shouldn't you be up there leading them?
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
Oh, no, not well, no. It says advantage, but it's because the cloak, but I'm not really wearing it properly.
Well, you are wearing it.
You are.
As long as you're wearing it, it counts.
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You quite easily then, or comfortably, sidle up behind him, rest against his back, and he jumps out of his skin, turns around, and as he turns then, there is a small hand crossbow levelled at you until he realises who you are and kind of...
Just push it down.
Yeah, and he allows it to be pushed down and kind of puts it away. This has been a while.
It has. You could have given us a lift.
We were not actually planning on coming to Paras.
No.
No. Certain interested parties on the seas perhaps changed our direction.
Right.
How are you?
Good. Glad to be off a train.
You came by train?
Yeah.
I would not get on a train if you paid me.
I would much prefer to do it by boat next time.
I would much prefer one of those. And he looks up through one of the... what could be a skylight and what could just be a big hole in the ceiling that hasn't been repaired, and someone has just kind of hung decoration around it to make it look like a skylight. And you see overhead an airship flying past.
Yes. I would like to give one of those a go as well.
They are almost solely owned by the Empire, unfortunately. But perhaps an enterprising individual who can walk unseen could perhaps take one.
Perhaps. If only we knew someone who could do that.
I don't. Do you?
Maybe.
So, what brings you to Paras?
Sightseeing, traveling. I'm meeting somebody here actually, but in a week. But I figured I'd learn where it is, get to know the locals, maybe see some temples.
Temples. You'll not find any of those in the Dock District.
No, down below.
Oh. You seek passage to the real Paras.
Yes.
Old Paras.
Yes.
I might know someone.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't know a way yourself.
I do. I'm not allowed, but I do. Business with the, suppose you could call him the king of Old Paras, did not go so well last time I was there. So, I am free to walk around Paras above, but I am exiled from Paras below.
Did you not pay your debts, handsome?
There was an argument about cargo.
Did you keep the cargo, handsome?
No, someone else definitely has it.
Did you lose it?
No, I know exactly where it is.
Oh, you sold it?
No. Well, I did not get any money for it.
You had it stolen, but you know where they've taken it.
They took themselves.
Ah.
I believe they're running quite a lucrative brothel now in Italia.
Good for them. I still forget sometimes that when people talk about cargo, they can be talking about... Anyway. About that, actually. Humans are quite free here.
Well, after a fashion. Come. He looks around, and there is like a cubicle with maybe 2 or 3 people in it, and he kind of nods to 2 of his crewmates who walk over, and being quite large, and the people sitting in the cubicle being quite small, very quickly ask them to leave, and they do. And he takes you over to the cubicle, you and Gitto, or Ace, sit down. Where it's a bit quieter, a bit more out of the way. Humans are not so free here. It is an illusion, paid for with blood and sweat and suffering. The illusion of freedom allows them some happiness. It is found, or at least it's the way the Empire says it, a happy worker is a productive worker.
Mm-hmm.
People who enjoy what they do it better. And so, they are given to believe that they are paid a fair wage, that they have some autonomy in the way that the Empire views them. They know nothing of Albion. They know nothing of the slaves sent to the front lines to die. They know nothing of anything outside of Paras. However, if you'd ask them Does your grandfather still wear his cuff? Has it been passed down yet to your father or your mother? Does she still wear it every day? They would answer yes. The youngest ones oblivious to the fact that they do not have a choice. And that if anything ever happened, if they ever rose up, if they ever attacked an elf, their entire bloodline will be wiped from the face of the earth. The threat is still there.
Yeah.
The
I had
elders protect the young, but
I had a
eventually they will.
feeling. I had a feeling that something wasn't quite as it seemed.
It is why I wear this. And he shows his own arm cuff. Though it looks like it might fall off at any moment.
You know that they don't actually do anything, right?
Well, this one certainly does not. The crystal was deactivated long ago.
No. I sort of glance around, check that no one's really listening in.
Mm-hmm.
The others, unless it's a very old cuff, they don't do anything. The crystals in them are useless. They can be taken off and nothing will happen. It's purely the stories that keep them on now.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yes, sir.
You've just tried to correct a fundamental truth of this man's life.
29.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, cool. He believes you. He looks shocked, very taken aback. So they've propagated the lie for so long.
That they don't actually need to use anything other than the lie anymore.
But the old ones, the original cuffs, they
They
work.
might still work.
But the newer, mass-produced ones.
Just a cheap knockoff.
There are people that need to know this. Have you told? Who have you told?
A few people who can spread it and use it wisely. It's worth saying, it's worth checking them before just ripping bands off people, but it's a pretty simple check. If you know how.
We told Father, and I think he knows Father, just so you know.
Careful who else you tell.
Oh, yeah.
Because while most humans here are still under the thumb or the boot of the Empire, there are those who collaborate willingly.
I hope you're not.
Come, I would not do anything willingly, for free.
No, that's true. Well, I can think of one thing.
Catch me in the right mood.
Oh, I've also been told of another like me around here.
We have spoken of him already.
Yes.
No, just now. The king
Ah,
of Paras below.
wait. So the cargo that was stolen, you lost, disappeared.
Hmm.
What did he want to do with them?
I think he wanted them to work for him.
Right,
But now they work for themselves.
which is better, and I prefer that.
Well, I say themselves. They work for the madame.
There's got to be a mother.
She was a terrifying woman.
They usually are, and they need to be.
Sexiest woman I've ever met in my entire life. Terrifying.
Now I know your taste, handsome. Where is your friend. I've forgotten her name.
Malice.
Yes.
She, when interested parties tried to divert us, went the other way.
Ah,
She will travel west until there is nothing, and then probably south. To
west
the
of Avalon.
There is nothing west of Avalon.
No, but west, towards Avalon.
But then south, towards the desert lands. Perhaps the jungles.
Good for her.
How are your friends?
They're good. They are... Oh, we've lost one of them. Not that way. The small angry one. The cloak.
Now, the bundle of rags you brought along with you that had a voice.
Although they weren't really a bundle of rags anymore at that point. But yes, they've left us.
You've
And I-
finally kicked them out, or?
No, they left, I would say, of their own free will, but mostly because a massive scary thing turned up that tried and wanted to kill us after a book they read. I am not
Okay.
looking forward to running into them again.
I'll keep an eye
But
out
we've
for you.
we've picked up another, a stray.
Stray.
A rather well-to-do tabaxi.
Well-to-do tabaxi. Well, there are quite a few well-to-do tabaxi in the city.
We currently have a month in the penthouse of the Horizon, I think it's called.
Is your new stray a member of the Fragrant Peaks clan?
Yes, and if I hear that name one more time, it's literally embellished on everything.
I perhaps have a request.
Go on.
The Fragrant Peaks have their own fleet.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they also have a number of hired hands who do not take kindly to other ships encroaching on their trade routes.
I can imagine, yeah.
A ship that had perhaps a pass would do very well.
Handsome, do you want me to ask him to give you a job?
I want you to ask him to give me a piece of paper that makes his family's fleet ignore me.
I can try, but it seems that his cousin is more in charge of that side of things than he would be.
No harm in asking.
I can ask. Maybe I'll bring him here one day. You can ask him yourself.
A tray of drinks is brought over to your table. And the barmaid looks at you and looks down at one of the drinks. And as you look down at it, you can see there is a piece of paper underneath.
I'll take it.
It would appear you've been noticed.
Hanson, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I go somewhere, I get noticed. I'm a 6-foot purple tiefling.
It is rare in, I would say, these parts, but I suppose any parts.
I'll read the note.
Same time, same place, tomorrow. Bring your friends. The king requests an audience.
Oh, fun. So what's this king like?
Not as purple as you, but still in the same family. More of a blood color.
Oh, a traditionalist.
It's the shadows you want to watch out for.
Yeah,
When
and
they start to
everything
move.
else.
I mean the shadows on him.
Okay.
They crawl and encapsulate his body. When they start to move and flare and his eyes glow, that is when he is angry with you. You do not want to make him angry with you. For
I'll
the most
try.
part, though. As long as you do not cross him. Once you are invited into Paras below, you may move about there freely.
I'll try to put in a good word for you.
Oh, that won't work.
I should probably get back.
Mm.
How long are you in Paras for?
Until the news of the blockade I'm trying to run comes, and with a good tide I can get past them.
Well, maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Perhaps. I wish your friends well.
And I wish you and your crew well.
Oh, we're fine. Look. And he points to them, and they're still singing.
Yeah, they really are. And I'll get up and go to leave.
Okay. As you get up, all eyes are on you.
Just roll my eyes and walk out. It's like, fuck's sake.
All eyes, apart from the crew of the Ligue.
Yeah, they've seen me before.
Mm.
I do wave at them.
And they raise their drinks at you. But you're old news now.
Yeah. And I'll head back to the horizon.
Okay. Doesn't take you long. Now that you know your way back. When you get there, Jean-Claude approaches you as soon as you come in through the front door. Madame, would you care for any further refreshment? I know I sent the drinks up over a couple of hours ago. Is there anything else you wish?
Not at the moment, though. We'll call you if we need anything.
Of course.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Rich, what sort of time is it?
That's taken Orianna, say, about 2 hours with all the travel you did, the meeting with Quill's cousin. I'd say it is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Too early. Okay.
I head up, go to the penthouse. I immediately fling the map to Dice when I have a gift.
Oh, impressive.
A map.
Oh, this is actually useful. Is this all of Paras?
It's yes, it's a few pages. Think trademark
I've marked
name of
on
map.
there. Yeah. I've marked on the map where the broken sun sitar is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, I bumped into some friends.
we have friends.
Handsome and his crew.
Oh, is the scary lady still with them?
No, she left.
Shame. She was voracious.
Yes. I've been asked to go back there tomorrow and to bring my friends for an
Right.
audience with the king. But not the Emperor King, the down below king.
The king of the down below, eh?
Yeah.
How long was Ori gone? Sorry.
About 2 hours.
Oh, it's probably about the time I'm waking up from my midday nap then.
Your cat nap.
Yeah, I come out in I presume there's some sort of hotel provided
Absolutely.
slippers.
with like embroidered like the hotel crest on it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also like a little kind of Fragrant Peaks crest as well, showing,
Oh,
Yeah.
who's in
I come-
charge.
I come out in a big fluffy robe with a towel around my head.
Shower as well.
I wash my hair.
Does that not affect your ears? Also, what happens if you get water in your ears? You'll notice I haven't moved. I'm
Also,
still
when
sitting
does
on the
it
windowsill.
stop being hair and start being fur?
Also, do you just shampoo your entire body or just the head?
But aren't we filled with questions today?
Is it a different shampoo for your tail?
No, I just use the same thing all over. It's a 3-in-1.
Do you have pubic
Oh,
hair.
no.
Is that inappropriate?
Yes, it is.
Even I know not to use a 3-in-1 product.
Head and shoulders and tail.
Just-
How was your walk, Orianna?
Lightning! I headed down to the docks.
These beds are remarkably comfortable. I forgot how pleasant it can be.
If I had a friend that required a piece of paper from your company that would allow them to get through some trade routes, would you be able to provide that, or would I need to speak to your cousin?
Who would definitely not provide that.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would very much piss off Busy Claw, and I am very interested in pissing off Busy Claw.
I only promised Hanson I'd ask.
I will think on it.
Thank you.
But
yeah, back to the Broken Sun Sitar tomorrow. Same time, so... Oh, at 10 o'clock was... No, it was 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
11 o'clock. It's actually quite nice down there. Very friendly. Looks rough. Oh, and the humans aren't actually free.
Of course not.
Oh, that is perhaps unsurprising.
It's more that working is the only thing that makes them happy.
Well, that's also remarkably untrue, isn't it?
That's the only way they get any semblance of a decent life.
I heard a story once of a count who kept a golden cup at a drinking fountain in the middle of his town, and all were welcome to pick up the cup and drink from it, but none would ever steal it for fear of his violent repercussions.
Yeah, that's pretty much how this is going down.
Yes, soft power, I believe it's called.
I will also be going for a walk this evening, but somewhere much rougher, I would imagine. You're welcome to come.
I had some shopping to do, but I don't think the rougher places are going to.
I don't think the human areas for the ones out of work are quite what you're looking for in terms of shopping.
Perhaps not.
I'm going to stay here and enjoy that bath.
Smart.
It's
and
very lovely.
probably meditate.
I am going to...
AKA smoke weed. Get high. I'm going to get high in the bath.
Because I got high. Okay.
I'm a
yeah.
simple girl with simple needs.
Heck yeah.
A
I'm going
bath
to...
and some herbs.
Right, I'm going to wait until like evening time, and then I'm going to go out.
Okay. Where are you planning on going?
I'm not going to wait until evening time, so if that matters for the order of how we resolve things.
Okay.
I do.
I've ordered lunch up to the room as well. I'll push the button and order some lunch up to the room.
Mel, where are you going?
So I'm going to try and work out where the roughest human places are.
Okay.
The ones that are out of work or not, that don't have family who are willing to wear the collars, that sort of thing.
Mm.
The dodgy bits.
Okay.
Every city has it.
Mm-hmm.
Swansea.
Before that, then, Quill.
I'm going to press the button and say I need help finding a particular type of shop.
Okay. Jean-Claude is on call, makes himself available to you.
Okay, so I'll ask him where I can find a shop that sells the sort of papers and inks that I need for copying spells into the old spell book.
Oui. You are looking for the temple district. There are many temples, but also libraries. But there are also shops that cater to both.
Fantastic. That sounds ideal. How do I get there?
I can order for you if you wish. You can have it on hotel credit, and then we will settle accounts when you leave.
That sounds fantastic. Yes, please.
And how much food you require?
Okay, well that's a good question. And I'll just get out my stack of spell scrolls there and start leafing through them. So I have 2/4, 1/3, I think that one I can't learn. So 2 4th level, 1 3rd level, 1 2nd level, and 3 1st level spells that I would like to copy. 4 cantrips, actually.
Okay. So each time you gain a level, you can add 2 wizard spells of your choice. Yeah, you've added those?
Yeah. But those aren't like, that's separate to like copying from spell scrolls and from other books and things.
Okay.
This is this is separate to that.
Okay. Go.
Hang on, it does list the cost of these things. I'll find it now.
For each level of the spell, it takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces in equipment.
Yeah. So we're looking at 200 for each of the 4th level spells. What did I say? So yeah, 200, 400, 550 for the 3rd level. Well, let's just start with that. We'll take those. And
So 550, yeah?
yes.
Okay. Of course. So 550 gold pieces worth of parchment and inks
Please.
of a magical nature. Oui?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I will have them sent up to our room as soon as they are delivered. We have quite a good relationship with the libraries and the shops there, so it should not be long, sir, but I will have them sent up to you as soon as possible.
I appreciate your diligence.
In fact, would you be willing to spend an extra 10 gold pieces?
I'm sure I would be.
I can have them delivered to you in moments.
Well, I mean, at that price, why not?
Oui. Please, allow me. It should not take too long.
Sure. Thank you very much.
About 20 minutes to half an hour later, a brown paper package tied up with a kind of
Tied up with string!
Silver string
These are a few of my favorite things.
appears in the center of the dining table in a puff of purple smoke. Appears in the center of the dining table, addressed to Subtle Quill Penthouse.
That was very convenient.
And as you open the package, it is a substantial amount of parchment with many, many vials of ink that seems to flash many colors. It is dark, but as you hold it up to the light, it flashes many different colors in your eyes. And it doesn't seem to swirl or fall in the way that normal fluid would. It seems to kind of try and claw its way up the vial before settling.
Cool.
It is a very fine set of tools for you to get on with your work.
Excellent. I will. I'll start copying out. What spell should I start copying out? I will start copying out fabricate, I think.
Okay. So you spend then, what level is fabricate?
4th, so that's going to take
level.
8 hours in total, I think.
You got basically the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But obviously, to copy out the spell, you must then start to try and discern the meanings behind the different words, the person who wrote the scroll, and you start practicing it, not quite pulling it off in the beginning, but eventually, after a good few hours, as the sun leaves the sky and the stars come out, you have been able to translate the spell into your way of spellcasting. I've copied it into your spellbook, and you know the spell, Fabricate.
Wonderful.
I like Fabricate. Fabricate's a good spell.
It's a good spell.
It's a very
good spell.
And it is at this time, or around about, somewhere towards the end of you copying this spell, the dice goes out. You got alone dice?
Yeah. I mean, Ace is welcome to come if they want to. Again, I don't think Ace would want anyone going alone.
Okay. Ace does go with you. It
Ace will
wasn't
fit in.
difficult to discern on the map where you needed to go. As you were looking through the map given to Orianna by Jean-Claude, you have incredibly detailed, beautifully rendered maps of every street, every alleyway, the Palace District, the Pleasure District, all the way even down to the docks. But further afield, out past the Warehouse District, you basically just had like a small cross-section of a pie that just went human residences. No detail of streets, just a big block white chunk. Human residence.
That's fine. I will be the automaton version of myself, though.
Okay.
After I get out of the hotel, because otherwise it's weird.
All right.
Because they've already seen me as a human.
Okay.
No, I'll leave the room as the automaton and walk out as that with Gitto, presumably.
Are you going to walk?
How far is it?
Based on Orianna confirming how long it took her to get to the dockland, it's probably going to take you, looking at this map, about 3 hours to walk there. This city is huge.
Okay. Hey, Gitto, can you ask for a carriage to the human residences?
Ace walks up to the reception. Jean-Claude acquiesces, and the carriage is brought very quickly. It's got the hotel crest and the Fragrant Peaks crest on the door.
I wave to Jean-Claude as I go out because he's seen me in the armor without the helmet and then with the helmet, so he knows I'm human, and I go, bye.
And he kind of like looks around, realizes no one's really paying attention, and just kind of goes,
I love him.
and
Okay.
waves.
I got an awkward wave. I'm happy. Yeah, I'll go and hop in a carriage and go for a wander down to the human residences with Ace.
Okay. You get to the human residences. Takes maybe half an hour winding through streets, but at a considerable faster pace than you would have been able to get there on foot. The carriage driver, when he stops, says, "Is there anywhere in particular you wish to go, madame?"
Madame, I assume that's aimed at Ace.
He's human, yeah. The
Oh,
carriage driver
he's
is
human.
human, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to confuse the hell out of him, though, and go, to the roughest part, please. Or as far as you're willing to drive.
I was born here. I
What's
am
it like?
willing to drive to any part, but I will not leave you there. I will wait.
Well, we would be okay, you know.
While I will not paint my entire race with the same brush, there are some misfits that make this place unsafe.
I have a question for you if you grew up here.
Me?
What's it like for the humans?
Here?
Mhm.
Or in Paris? And
Here.
he nods back over his shoulder.
Forget Paris. Most of that is a show from what I've seen. Here, where it's real.
You do what you can to get by.
Mm.
It is not comfortable. You go hungry sometimes. If you can find work, you eat. If you can find the right work, you can leave.
Have you ever seen a gnome? Not a deep gnome. A gnome. Somewhere in Paris.
No. Not myself. But
Do you know someone who has?
I think I have a better idea of where to take you.
Okay.
And he cheats the horses on further.
So he thinks he's talking to an automaton with a Shalem accent and a half-orc at this point. Yeah, I gotta take my helmet back off.
You are as pretty as your voice.
And you are a flatterer.
I have been told that a few times.
Is he cute?
He's alright.
All right.
But as the carriage then comes to a halt again, outside a rundown hut that has tables outside it, looks like it might be a gathering place for locals, perhaps a pub. Go in there.
As myself or the automaton?
As yourself. Ask for Alice.
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 Okay. And you're going to wait?
Oui.
What's your name?
Mine. My name is Cloud.
I like Cloud. But Cloud with an E? It doesn't matter. Thank you. And I'll hop out with Gitto, who's still a half-orc, I guess, and go into the pub, not pub.
You walk in, and inside there are a few more tables, very, very bunched together. They've each got 4 seats around them. There's about 3 of them. You can't imagine how 12 people could all sit in here comfortably together. And the other half of the room is a kitchen. And pottering about the kitchen is an older woman. Tiny, but human. And as she hears the door enter, she kind of looks up through heavily lidded eyes, kind of squints at you.
Hello.
Oui? Who is it?
Are you Alice?
Oui?
Hi, my name's Dice. I was dropped here by Cloud.
Ah! How is my grandson?
A flatterer, a flirt.
I have always said it.
Then you're right. I
He
wondered
still owes me money. His flattery will not get him away from it.
How much does he owe you?
A little. Do not pay his debt. It'll make him come back and
You want him
visit.
to come home. He seems to be doing well, if that helps.
Why are you here?
I had a couple of questions I was hoping that you could answer.
Ask them and we will see.
2 things mainly. I am looking for gnomes.
She looks at you and her eyes kind of widen. She stands up a little bit straighter as well. And it becomes apparent that the stooped, half-blind old woman was an act.
Of course.
And as she straightens herself and starts to put her hands in front of her, resting on a walking stick, she's almost the same height as you. Why are you looking for gnomes here?
I didn't know where to start, and someone asked me to look into things.
She takes 2 tottering steps towards you.
I smile as unthreateningly as possible.
She very quickly whips the walking stick forward until it is blazing with lightning at its tip, and it is an inch from your nose.
Don't move.
Tell me the truth now. Who?
Flandel Steelskin asked me to look in on the gnomes.
What? Roll
You asked for the truth.
roll a persuasion check. With advantage.
Okay. All right. With advantage. Optimistic considering. Oh, I didn't need it. Okay. Persuasion. 19.
Okay.
I rolled an 18 and a 1.
Her face does not change. She does not look like she believes you.
That's okay.
However, a small section of the floor in the kitchen behind her springs open with no sound. And another section of the floor from below rises up to fit into the hole perfectly. And standing in that small square of wood is a short, frazzled old gnome, missing one eye, one arm, and most of the fingers off his remaining hand. Flando!
I speak in Gnomish and say, Flandel would be my god, yes?
What's that crazy bastard sent you for?
I have a particular set of skills.
Eh?
He sent me because I am too nosy for my own good and far too keen to help. And also possibly because I'm a sucker.
The gnome walks up to you. Then starts to stroke the front of your armor. But not in a creepy way.
No, it's okay.
You can tell the deftness of the fingers he has left. Start to check the joints. And start to go over the spell work that you've weaved in to the making of it. Yeah. You'll do.
Thanks.
Come! And he gestures back to the hole in the ground.
Can my friend come with me? I don't want to leave them on their own.
Oh!
They're good too.
Startled that there's another person in there with you. Yeah?
Thanks.
Take that off, though. Doesn't suit you. Waves at Ace.
Ace presumably drops it. I'll
Come!
follow them in.
Come! Stand!
Thanks.
You stand
I will
on the
go.
floor of the kitchen.
I'm gonna turn and go, thanks, Alice! And go and stand.
And he kicks the floor a little bit. And the three of you start to descend into the darkness of the cellar below. And with that, we're going to leave it there.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yes.
where this is going.
Because it
Charlie's
is
falling asleep.
11 o'clock. Yeah. But yes, you are finally off a train. You have all met and interacted with my plot hooks.
Your plot. Characters?
That's what they're called. The NPCs. Yeah, and cool. You're finally off the train. You're finally in Paras. It's only taken 66 episodes.
It has taken
And now
a
we're off the
ridiculously long
train,
time.
and now Bry's just scattering
I
stories
mean, it didn't take 66
like petals.
Went on
it
the
didn't
train
take
for 66
episodes to get on the train.
Fucking feels like it.
It did take about 20 though.
And also, you say scattering plot hooks like petals, right?
Yeah.
I've been waiting to do this
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
So have we.
fucking months. But yes, there are many, many more that you have not yet uncovered, and I can't wait for you to do so. If you want to.
I have a list. I have a list.
I'm not rolling another perception check until we leave the city.
I know nothing.
But yes, you are in Paras. ready for whatever the heart of the Empire that has been hunting you for the last 66 episodes will throw at you. But yeah, great session. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it's great.
But
I had a lot of fun.
I hope everyone in
So much
chat
fun.
did. I missed thanking Dean Hassel for the raid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize
We did
there
it
was a
for you.
raid.
It's cool.
Cool, thank you. But yes, obviously before we go, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you feel so inclined, please join our Discord.
Oh, I don't have a link for that this
Do you
time.
want me to send you a link?
Yeah, maybe. I might be able to do it. Hang on. It's okay. It's okay. I got it. I got
All
it.
right.
I got it.
Okay. Please join our Discord where we talk about nerdy stuff, gaming, D&D. If you play games, you may get invited to come play with us if we're so inclined. Valorant, Sims.
We have a
No, not
Minecraft
Sims.
server.
Minecraft. We have a Minecraft server.
Yeah.
It is.
I do
welcome
play
to
Sims.
Time.
But yes, join our Discord. Feel free to leave feedback about the Chronicles of Nidum or anything we do. Yes, make fun of the DM. Yes, thank you, Stu.
He's really old.
He's
Stop
very
that.
old, and he always walks around corners in the middle of reloading in Valorant. That's another thing you can.
Also, he's got a thing about graveyards. So, or any of these,
Oh my
completely
God.
fair game.
He likes to aim at the ground.
Please remember my 10-year-old daughter is on the Discord, and
because he thinks that he's fighting mice in Valorant, so he's always looking for them around on the floor.
But yes, thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. It's always fun playing for you guys and entertaining you and entertaining ourselves anyway. But apart from checking out Blink Dog Dice, please do. They're amazing dice creators and could definitely do with your patronage. Please also check out Loki Battle Mats. Didn't get a chance to look at one today because there were no battles, because no one decided to kick anything off, which is nice.
Thought about it.
You must be
I know.
missing sepsis. They'd have gone to murder someone by now.
They certainly would have. They probably have. They're probably out murdering someone right now.
Right now, this minute. But no. Also, please check out the link, which has already been posted in the chat. The annual Heavyweight Gaming charity 24-hour live stream is coming up. Hey, Sean! A raid with party of 5. We are closing down.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you
we're
very
leaving.
much for the raid anyway.
Oh,
Thank you for the raid.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you for the raid. Unfortunately, I can't pay it forward because I'm not in control of the channel, so I can't raid anyone. But yes, please go check out the link for the charity, which is in the chat. 24-hour gaming or D&D homebrew one-shot being run by Heavyweight himself for the Short
that one
Rest
again.
Tavern playing for the Short Rest Tavern team. Go check them out. Twitch.tv/Short Rest Tavern for their Monday night streams as they run through the Candlekeep Mysteries, which is, by all accounts, a fantastic new adventure book from Wizards. But yeah, apart from that, as always, thank you very much to those who have watched. Thank you very much to those who will watch. Take care, stay safe, wear a mask, don't go outside unless you have to, get vaccinated if you can. We're almost through this, and we will see each other in person sometime soon. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Hugs, hugs. Bye.